grate me in the mouth. Yes.
69, dude.
I absolutely love my
You have failed
This
this.
night ever.
Hey.
What is this? What are we doing?
No. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Call Guys podcast. I'm Gunner, also known as Chico Noise, two-time podcast host, the master of pop-up cameos, and the lover of a nice hoppy IPA. Alongside me, as always, my good friend, Colton Keel, or as I like to call him, Juan Keel for 3, and our special guest for episode 10, the Emperor.
Hi. I am Golden J. I am a connoisseur of the band Flickerstick, the collector of Jimmy John stickers, and I have seen Blink-182 in concert twice.
Oh my, that hurts.
Oh.
I've seen him once. I've only seen him once, but it wasn't with the original. Well, I call it the original 3, but I didn't see him with Tom.
Yeah.
I saw them with the original 3.
Man,
And to top it all off, I saw them when they co-headlined with Green Day.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
It was amazing. I'll tell you what,
good show.
Blink is amazing in concert. Of course, Tom had food poisoning when I saw him, so he had done everything he do to be on that stage and put forth the show that he's used to.
Yeah.
At the end of the show, he collapsed on the stage, and they ran out, and they put him on a one of those
Like a
gurney, and toted him off. Well, Mark also, in part of the thing, collapses on the stage, so they run out with a gurney and put his bass on the gurney.
that sounds like Blink.
Oh, it was amazing.
The last time I was gonna go see them was when it was in Hershey, PA, and they were playing with Linkin Park,
Nice.
Ooh,
and it
that
was
a great
11 days
show.
before Chester took his life,
Oh, wow.
and I was in all kinds of emotions that day.
Yeah.
Because I was mad that I couldn't go, and then I was mad because I never saw Linkin Park. That's another band that I wish I could have gotten to see
Right.
before something happened.
I never saw Linkin Park.
If you get a chance, have you heard What's in the Eye? No.
No.
So it's a song that they released after he passed, and they actually released it with audio that he'd recorded like 15 years before that.
Really?
Yeah, and they went through and remastered everything. And it's a good song. You should check it out.
Huh. I probably will.
Yeah.
I've heard it. You played it for me. I've
Yeah,
heard it.
it's a
So
great-
yeah,
it's a
it's
great
really,
song.
really good.
Yeah.
And it's a little trippy to hear him. I mean,
Yeah.
it's because, which I'm sure the whole Taylor Hawkins thing is going to be. Well, they just released the Studio 666
Yeah, the
movie
movie.
that they did. It's out on streaming now. You can buy it or whatever.
I bet
But
that. Wow. I didn't think
yeah,
about
that's
that.
going to be a trip to go back and.
Yeah.
I've never been overly emotional about, losing a musician, but I don't know, there was something about when he passed away. I was just watching the old videos and stuff that people were posting. Just
Yeah. Him and Dave Grohl have had such a good, I don't even know what you call it.
repertoire together.
Yeah. Just the way that they played together. And Taylor actually sang quite
Yeah.
a bit
Oh
too.
yeah. Yeah.
And he
Lot of
was
the-
good.
A lot of the videos I saw was him coming up and doing cover songs or whatever they
Yeah.
were doing. But it was interesting. I was watching that Jagged, which is the Alanis Morissette documentary that came out on, I don't even know what streaming site it's on, HBO, I think. And I'm like watching this, and it's talking about her early years and coming up, and it's showing her drummer, and I'm like, dude, that looks like, and pretty soon he popped up, and they had his name, and it was Taylor. He drummed for
Nice.
Alanis Morissette during her Jagged Little Pill tour.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I think he actually recorded that album with her, but
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go back and listen to our All About Music episode where Colton and I talk about music and how it's affected our lives and talk about the Foo Fighters in there a little bit. And
It was a good episode.
yeah,
It was a really good
yeah,
episode.
thanks. Yeah, it was fun. So yes, we have the Emperor with us today.
The Emperor himself.
Well,
is
the
in-
Emperor has a couple of things he would like to say, if that's okay.
I just saw you flip like 3 Menopad
Yeah,
papers.
yeah, it's-
so
yeah.
I am,
Hey,
I
you
am
know,
ready for the smoke.
I got my Sheldon Cooper speech going on here.
Good.
like a Nobel Prize.
For any of you that don't know who the Emperor is, he's my dad. He goes by Golden J. He is a host on the Murdnerds,
Yes.
co-host. He also hosts the Golden Image podcast, and he is also part of Team Boozers for the United States of Paranormal podcast.
That is a 3-time podcasting.
3 times.
Yep.
Yes, and
About to be 4.
yes, and that's what I have here is that soon to be we will have the Indiana Chiefs fans podcast, which will be me, Golden Jay, and his buddy Phil, who needs a radio name. We'll have to figure that out.
Oh, man.
We'll just call him Chief.
We could.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the biggest Chief fan I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's bigger than both of us.
Like size-wise or fan-wise?
Fan-wise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah, he is definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
he's-
Sounds
he's
like,
huge.
sounds like a good radio name for the content you're wanting to do.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep.
All right, what you got?
All right. So, I am a avid fan of the Call Guys.
Thank
I
you.
listen every week.
Thank you for that.
Monday morning, that's the first thing I listen to. There's a couple things I'd like to touch on just in general. Number one is I'd love to tell you real quickly about the New Orleans trip
Yes.
and somebody
Uh-huh.
who got the Mardi Gras beads,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
And he was really, really, really intoxicated. Of course, we did the whole deal where we talked where every time we would go in and he had his ID, but it was still, he hadn't had it converted yet because he actually turned 21 while we were still in Texas.
Okay.
So we didn't have any time to get it changed over. So I had to tell everybody he was 3 days old. They'd look at the ID and I'd look at him. I go, he's 3 days old. What do you want? It's 3 days ago he turned 21.
Yeah.
But he told you the story of that guy that came up to him and gave him the Mardi Gras beads.
Yeah.
What he did not tell you
Yes.
was in his drunken stupor, the rest of the night on Bourbon Street, he's running down there yelling, I got big balls!
There's a lot of things in that trip that maybe not be friendly for the air, but
I just
the
felt,
big
I
balls
did feel
thing's
like
okay.
I did feel like there was a lot that was being withheld from that trip. So
yeah.
Oh, like when he got back to the hotel room and he's standing 3 inches from the TV yelling, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this.
I think it was Top Chef.
But yeah, every time we turned around,
Oh.
we was like, what are you drinking? Oh, a hand grenade. Okay, here you go. Here's another hand grenade.
Yeah, those are good too, man.
We walked up to this one place and the guy checked his ID. And then as we started to go in, this girl come up behind us and he was looking at it and he's like, I don't fucking think so. And he hands it back to her. And she's like, oh, no. And he called the cops over on
Oh
her
no.
while we were standing there. And we're like, oh.
Oh, this doesn't sound good.
Good thing we got through. We're good over here. But
Yeah.
so that's my quick Gunner thing.
Okay.
Now I do have something I'd like to say about you.
I'm excited.
So, and I don't even know which one it was. We talked about you talked about your basketball career.
Yeah, oh gosh. Okay.
But see, I want to add something to that
Okay.
that you did not add, and I think it is very important.
Oh, well then.
For all you call guys listeners and followers out there, Mr. Keel over here is extremely humble
True.
about his basketball career. You see, Colton led Triton High School to a state championship, trophy and all. Conseco Fieldhouse. I had nosebleed seats. Apparently, I wasn't important enough to get the good seats. But I was there, and I think it's important that that your listeners know that is a very large accomplishment, and you should be very, very proud. Now, you guys went 2 years in a row, correct?
We went back to back.
Right.
My junior year we won. My senior year we lost.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, at the time, I think we were the first 1A school to defend our state championship at the state game, because a lot of 1A schools, which in Indiana those are smaller schools, are there's usually classes of anywhere from, I played ball with a guy, he had 20 people in his graduating class.
Right.
So usually it's around under 100 is probably a good range. So it's not a lot there. So usually what happens is that every 4 years you have a really good class, and those are the teams that win. So when they win the state championship, they graduate almost 95% of the points that were scored. So it's really, really tough for a 1A school to repeat, not only to win back-to-back, but just to get to that game.
Right.
I think that's probably the one thing that I'm most proud of is following up, not being complacent with winning that state championship, but following up with another run
Right.
that deep into the into the playoffs.
Right.
So it took me a while to get there because I'm a very, very competitive person, and losing is just not in my DNA. And I actually took that medal when I got to the hotel and I threw it in the trash. And my sister fished it out.
Like your second place, the
Yeah,
runner-up.
Yep.
No
When
kidding.
we lost, yep. I was that upset. I never wanted to go back into that building again. I mean, that's just the way
Yeah.
it was, and it took me a while to understand really what I did, and you could say it was a coping mechanism I used, but I started to look for more of the positive stuff, and that's one of the coolest things that I found. I actually have a top 5 performance of rebounds my senior year in
Really?
the 1A game. Yeah, I had 13, and at the time it was a top 5 performance record. Now I think there's been a bunch more who have tied it, so my name's not in the book, but I do have some record books. I do have my name in it for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I back to back, and bringing a state title to the little bitty ass school of Triton High School is a proud accomplishment.
Yeah.
And when I was listening to that episode, I was like, he really needs to. And I asked Gunner about it, and he's like, nope, he doesn't go there. He's not.
It's always been a thing.
He doesn't have that ego like you do, Dad. Just let it roll.
Yeah, and you're right. He is more humble about it. Even
Yeah.
when he talks about basketball and his career playing, even when he went into college, it's not like bragging.
Right.
It is just, fact after fact. Like he doesn't brag or
So
blow anything up.
on today's podcast, I will brag about you for you. How's that? All I know, man, is I don't really follow basketball. I never was big into basketball, even when I was a student at Triton. I played in the band, so we played a lot of the games and stuff. But when you guys made your run, we listened to all of them on WRSW.
Listen to Rita,
And it was, I remember going, Bobby, do you know Colton Keel? Do you know him? Keel, that's your friend Katie, right? Katie's nephew.
That's
right? Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, we were totally honed in on you because we knew her.
Yeah.
So when he was telling me you were gaming, I was like, you're gaming with Colton Keel?
Oh yeah,
Really?
I think you remember that?
Yes. So Gunner used to tell this story. Well, probably maybe one of the first or second times we hung out, and he said something like that, and I could hear in the background like Gunner was talking to somebody else, and I was like, "Who are you talking to?" I was like, "Talking to my dad," and I was like, "Oh, okay," because okay, that's weird but cool. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then Gunner tells the story. He's like, "So yeah, when I was talking to my dad the other day, and he asked who I was playing with, I said Colton Keel, and he's like." He was shooting. He was doing a shooting motion for those for the podcast world.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's basketball was a big part of my life. It's not my life. It's taken me to a lot of places.
Right.
I have a lot to thank for, and I have a lot to be upset about with it right
well,
now.
what the last one you talked about, the 3 knee surgeries and the bad back because of basketball?
Yeah, I had my 3rd surgery when I was 19.
I just can't even imagine.
Yeah, my mom was asking about that the other day, asking, well, when did he have his surgeries? And I didn't know if you had one like when you went to college. Was that about that time?
So I had my first one actually my junior year going in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I was playing in an AAU tournament, the Adidas May Classic in Bloomington,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it there. That was the first time, and then the second, I call it my 2-for-1. When I was at Bethel and I played, I had a meniscus tear on the other side. So like imagine like a kidney bean, okay, and they take it, and that's the cartilage that goes around your kneecap. And it keeps keeps it in place.
Right.
So I took it and I cut it in half horizontally, and then I cut it in half vertically, and then I shredded like 40% of it.
Wow.
And I did some more stuff to it. So a lot of it couldn't be replaced or fixed. So when they were cleaning it out, they actually found that now that I had a microfracture on my knee, which for those who don't know, that's bone on bone.
Right.
And imagine 2 pieces of chalk and rubbing them together. And that's what's going on with my bones. And that was 6 months of nothing more than a walk or a step at a time going upstairs.
Man.
Yeah, so good stuff. I mean, now I'll say
That's
this.
why he's humble.
I'll say this. I know I say this a lot with my kid, and if he wants to do any type of sport or anything like that, if he just has half the success that I had, he's going to have a really, really good career, and or my future daughter or son. If they just do half, that's what I want. I don't know if I want them to commit like I committed to it. I mean, I was all out. It was basketball or nothing, and I mean, I paid the price, but I also felt like it was worth it in the end because I have a lot more accolades than just a state championship and a state runner-up. Just from that standpoint, I've hit two game winners in the state tournament run that we won. I don't know if you guys remember.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What was that, 2011?
09.
Oh, my God.
08, 09.
You graduated,
Yeah.
you graduated in 10, right?
2009.
Oh, my God.
I know, man. I know.
Who's the old man in here besides me?
Yeah.
I know. We are old. We are old, just so you know.
That's okay.
So, yeah, I mean, basketball's done a lot for me, but I like to keep things simple because I don't want people to remember me for being a basketball player.
Right.
I want to be known for something a lot more than that. And I think that's one thing that I've done a pretty good job with so far.
Well, like I said, you come off as humble about that particular thing, and I just wanted to make sure that our listeners know the leader is in the house. You know what I'm saying?
There's more to it.
There's more to it.
I'd hang 40 on you real easy right now, and I haven't touched a ball in probably 6 years.
I can barely dribble. I don't know what you're talking about.
Especially when you're out playing barn ball in
Yeah,
the grass.
you got barn ball in the grass, and you hit that rock, and the ball shoots off in the other direction.
I remember that. I remember those days.
Oh, anyways, that's all I got. I just wanted to throw those couple stories out because, like I said, I have been listening a lot to your guys' stuff, and it's fun for me because I know both of you so well. You more newer than a couple years ago. We actually sat down and just hung out at the campground out by the fire pit. And
I think we had some cigars.
I do believe we had some cigars.
Man.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, so this weekend that we're recording this, obviously this episode will come out a week from now. My brother had his bachelor party.
Yeah, how was it? How was that? I was going to bring it up.
It was fun. We went to combat ops, same thing we did for mine.
Nice.
Lots
did
of
little
laser
kids?
tag.
Lots of little
Not
kids?
really. The first
that
couple rounds,
sucked.
but the second round, yes, they were like mid-round. People started coming in.
Oh my
Yeah, it
gosh,
was
that's
wild.
weird.
But so yeah, we did that. But they put in a new full-on VR. there.
Really?
Yeah. So like the actual like pads you like
Uh-huh.
walk and you're in the holster and all that, which was super fun. We did it while we were there. We had
That'd
to
been
do it.
cool.
Which I've gotten into VR a little bit more lately, but yeah, it was so fun. So after that, we went to
We
the
have
liquor store.
Oculuses that we never play.
Yeah. After that, we went to the liquor store in Bremen, and I'm standing up at the counter, and off to the side, they had cigars. Well, they had a Maker's Mark cigar,
Okay.
dipped in
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to pick one up for the Emperor because
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a Maker's Mark guy, you know.
Well, did they? Is it in a sealed container?
yes,
Mhm.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
we'll just leave it there for the show of having it, and
yeah, I thought it was cool. I saw it and I was like, yeah, that's cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, the whole weekend was fun. I mean,
Good.
It was busy. We grilled out burgers and wings and brats last night and drank and went up to the old Hooples and did some karaoke.
Hooples, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I did get a snap from you though last night.
Yeah.
Did you lose the cap? I'm just curious.
Oh, the cap was gone. Yeah, I don't know where it went.
It's so crazy. Those caps, someone needs to call them, and
Yeah.
someone could
is it
get
just
hurt.
it's just on that specific brand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, with us, yes. I don't know if it happens other times, but yes.
I'm not gonna. I could confirm nor deny that it could happen with others.
Yes,
but
the
that's the
cap-
most common.
The
I
cap
think.
somehow went missing, and I don't know where it went.
I found a cap. One is returned.
Oh,
It ended up in my DJ bag at your wedding. It's the weirdest thing ever.
the cap went missing, and you found it, but now the bottle's gone.
Now the bottle's gone. Yeah.
I remember who it was. Jared's. Didn't we plant? We were trying to grow him some McGillicuddy trees.
Oh, I have one at my house still. Still nothing.
It's still in the ground.
I had one sprout. But it was Fireball.
No.
No.
One of these nights, I'm just gonna sneak over there and just put like little bottles out there.
Oh my god, the McGillicuddy tree grew.
It grew.
It's actually called a McGilly tree.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The
But they-
McGilly tree makes sense.
Still there. Still there.
That's awesome.
Jared's is gone. I think he cut it down.
He cut it down.
Cut it
He was getting
down.
frustrated. So
I'm sure he was.
So congratulations, boys! Episode 10. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Like I said, all of them have been really good, except maybe that one particular one, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later.
yeah, I know which one you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
I don't.
you
so
do.
I'm.
You
yeah.
you
If,
know.
if it's what I think it is, I am ready. We could go to the wood. We are in the woodshed.
We were
right
in
now.
the woodshed.
Well, actually, so Colton?
Wait, I want to say one thing. This is my first time.
Well,
in-
that's where I was going actually.
Oh,
So
my first time in the Emperor's studio.
if you look behind us on the cameras, you can kind of see the logo, the Golden Mojo Music logo on the wall.
yeah.
We are in the Golden Mojo Entertainment Complex, sitting at the new.
the new
desk.
table, it is a beautiful desk. It's BS though, but before Skylar. So I just want to say that I'm glad that I wasn't the first. I didn't have to be the first, but I just had to be before Skylar. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Skylar, it's a beautiful desk. I'm excited for whenever you get here. Just know that I was here first.
Well, and you're also sitting in his chair.
In his chair. Oh my gosh, Skylar, do I have surprises for you?
Well, now Alicia's chair is that chair too, so
Yeah,
be careful.
Yes.
Alicia, guess what?
Surprise!
So, what do you think? What do you think of the Golden Mojo Entertainment
It's
Complex?
everything I thought it would be, honestly.
Yeah, it's changed a lot
Well,
over
yeah.
time.
The outside has changed. It looks weathered.
It
Oh,
is.
very much
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Very
it
much so.
definitely is.
But no, I think I could probably spend another hour just in your band room over
Just-
there,
yeah.
Just looking at everything.
just looking at everything, not touching anything or
Oh,
playing
you can
anything.
touch whatever you,
You can,
want.
yeah, you can
Well,
play
I
with
would.
whatever. Yeah.
I'd get there, but
Just don't turn the knobs to 11. That's all we ask. Just don't turn the knobs.
Yeah.
fair enough. No, this is awesome. I mean, I mean, for what it looks like on the outside, I never would expect for all this to be on the inside.
Yeah.
What was it, Laura Balke, when she was here for one of her interviews? Sorry, that was my tablet.
Oh, you're good.
Professionalism.
She said the same thing.
Yeah.
She said like, when she got here, she was like, "Oh," but when she walked in, she's like, "It was a magical paradise."
Yeah.
And it's not wrong. I mean, it's nothing like I would have ever expected
Right.
to be on the inside, and so it's just really cool to finally be in here and to
Yeah.
finally now that I've got a visual of everything. If you guys are talking about something, or now I have kind of like a visual cue, I'd be like, oh, okay, I know where they're at.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's spent a lot of time in this garage.
Oh, I'm sure you
growing
have.
Up, and we talked about that in the music episode. And my drum kit used to be actually right where I'm sitting right now. And then Scott's
Oh.
was a little bit further over, probably about
Yeah.
where the Emperor's at, and then everything else was chock full of every other type of gear you could.
Well,
put
at
in
one
here.
point we had 3 or 4 bands at practice in here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Well, I was playing in 3 bands at a time, so
Oh, well, that makes sense.
everybody just kind of showed up here, and Scotty was playing in 2 of those bands, I think. So we had 3 drum sets set up in here. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, so it's had wear and tear, and it's had a lot of people in and out, and you can tell from the walls, and I mean,
Oh yeah.
everybody that's been here has signed these walls.
Yeah, there's it right over Colton's shoulder, his other shoulder. Right over here. You can see how that's Soko Promo's signature,
Yeah,
and we're gonna actually frame that so that it doesn't get ruined. But we wanted to make sure we kept that. But that's what the rest of the walls look like, is stuff like that.
yeah, you could look at those all day too, and half of them you can't read because they're signatures. But some of them have some cool little snippets on them. Which
Oh,
is-
yeah.
yeah.
as he's looking around.
I'm always, yeah. Like I said, even I did the tour before, and I was like, I still felt like I was rushed. So I just want you guys to know that.
No,
Well, you can take your time after we're done and
I might.
just go look around and.
I just might.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, are you ready for the question of the pod?
you know it.
Okay. So, since the Emperor is co-host and
That's right.
for the Bouger team on United States of
That's
Paranormal,
Team Bouger.
yes, I wanted to.
But you got to say it with a lot of oohs. Yeah, Team Bouger. Yeah.
I just wanted to connect the question back to him a little bit. I think that's something we should do with our guests as we bring more people in and we do
Yeah.
stuff. Connect a question back to them. That way, they don't feel like they have to search for an answer. So,
Makes sense.
with the United States of Paranormal, they talk about creepy, cryptid, paranormal, whatever, anything that like that. So, the question of the podcast.
Mm-hmm. He's hiding. Look at him. He's hiding. He's hiding behind his microphone.
Yes, the question of the podcast. So, do you have any creature, myth, legend that you 100% fully believe in?
Oh, you're looking at me first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I fully believe in Bigfoot.
Okay.
100%. I think he's extremely real, and I think people like Josh Gates and some of those guys that investigated have found actual footprints and stuff like that. I was watching a video last night on YouTube. It was like something to the effect of a video you should never watch, but your gunner or something like that. And it was a bunch of that weird stuff.
Yeah.
And they actually had footage of Bigfoot walking across a river. I mean, it was a long shot, and they kind of zoomed in a little bit, and they were carrying a youngling, as I guess is easy when to say, a baby Bigfoot across this river. So I think the footage is there. I think Alicia touched on something in our first episode of the Paranormal when she talked about the existence of portals.
Mm-hmm.
And if we fall into this multiverse, all this stuff, and stuff like that, I mean, if those would possibly exist, why wouldn't Bigfoot be jumping around through those? And that's why you can't really get him, can't really capture him. He's jumping in and out of portals.
Well, that's something.
It's just something to think about. It's theory. That's the beauty of it.
What about you, Colton?
Man, I'd have to.
He was listening to me. He didn't get a chance to
That's
think
right.
about it.
I was thinking, and I can't think of anything. The only thing that honestly would make sense would be Bigfoot for that reason right there. I don't know about portals and all that other stuff, but I
don't think there could be portals?
No, I
Okay.
don't think Bigfoot knows how to work a sling ring or something.
You sure? Well, Ned can do it. Why can't anybody?
Bigfoot's a sorcerer.
Yeah, but Ned's grandmother also said that there's some magic in the family.
Yeah.
Anywho, but yeah, no, that one seems most logical because I could actually, I mean, heck, there was a guy who from World War II, a Japanese soldier who got stuck on some islands, and for 30, 40 some years, he thought World War II was still going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if somebody like that can survive in the wilderness for that long, yeah, I could definitely see something like a Bigfoot being plausible. So and that's my only example because it's kind of sort of happened like that, where somebody can live in the woods and not be found or not want to be found.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are some of the ones that I was thinking of when I thought of the question. Like you have Yetis, which is kind of a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, and aliens. I mean, that's one of the biggest ones that people really question because there's too much unexplainable stuff happening.
Well, I mean, if you think about aliens, to think that we're the only living entities in this universe would be to really be kind of egotistical about it.
Yeah, and if you think back to that, and there's another Earth out there somewhere, right, where there's humanoid people like us, then you're gonna have we're aliens to them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's there's a whole thing there, but
I mean,
that's a whole different podcast.
we
Yeah, I
could-
was gonna
we could
say,
talk
yeah, if
aliens
only
for-
there was another podcast
Yeah.
that talked about this stuff.
Speaking of, since we're talking about United States Paranormal, check them out. Facebook.com/United States Paranormal
Yeah.
podcast.
We release every Wednesday.
Yeah, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, I've
Enjoyable.
enjoyed them.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I've actually been getting. I've been listening to more and more.
Yeah.
Stuff under the Emperor's
Umbrella.
Umbrella.
But mine, Slender Man. You ever heard of Slender Man?
I've actually have been I've been referenced as him a couple times before.
Just tall, lanky.
Yep, tall and
pasty.
lengthy. Yep.
Yep.
Mostly pasty.
Yeah. So
You know what he looks like in his suit.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So Slender Man is one of those that Jared and I, there was a YouTube series back when we were younger that we watched where it was a guy that just did like a series on Slender Man,
Mhm.
but it was all like cinematic. It wasn't
okay.
it wasn't like true story or anything like that. So he staged it all. And it was one of those things that was creepy, and we watched it, and he had like 75 episodes that were. It's terrible to go back and watch. It doesn't hold up at all. So, but it was one of those things. Like when you watch something that's like that, and when you're younger, it kind of sits.
You're impressionable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you're a sponge at this point in time, and you can believe anything at any time.
It's
Yep.
like watching that movie Aftermath, and the guy's living in the walls in that movie, and like you walk in your house, and you're just like, there could be somebody in my walls, but. And it doesn't. Yeah, there's that.
I still shake my head at that whole thing. I don't understand how they pass through the walls when most walls are just 8
9
inches,
inches,
8 inches, 9 inches thick, and they're full of studs. And how do you get through there?
Yeah.
These
The
are
way those
questions.
older houses were built too. I don't, who
Yeah.
even
Oh
knows?
my gosh,
That's
yeah.
true too.
So yeah, Slenderman is kind of the one that I thought of, and it's just set with me over those years of watching those videos, and then the movie came out about him,
Yeah.
which was just a horror film, and Slenderman, tall, lanky guy wearing a suit with tentacles and no face.
Yeah, so when I first moved to Florida, there was a Halloween party that came out, and I dressed as Jack Skellington. And for some reason, we started running around outside, and I was Slenderman from there on out.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that hangs out in the woods and takes
Yep.
children and their organs.
I noticed that he didn't mention that he actually was part of a video that shot about Slender Man.
Yeah, it's my Logan, the host of Team Tejas back in the day, made it was a video on how to tie a tie, and every time he did a video like that, he would go back and do like a actual like longer video of something funny or stupid or whatever. And yeah, it was called How to Catch a Slender Man or something.
Yeah,
like
I
that. I
remember
don't remember,
exactly.
but yeah, I was in that video. My sister was in that video, and Logan was in that video.
Hmm
It was interesting.
It was fun to do at the time.
I think you still have it somewhere.
Somewhere,
don't you?
yeah.
I'm
I
sure
watched
it's
it the other.
somewhere.
I just watched it the other day
Yeah.
for some weird reason.
So yeah, question of the pod.
That's a good question. I like that.
Yeah, so
I
that's
like the idea. I like the idea of giving the guest kind of a softball question.
Yeah.
Something in their wheelhouse that they can
Like
crank
Lucas
on.
and his boat, but we definitely stumped him on that one.
Yeah, I had a better boat name than his.
Yeah.
I had to give him his boat name.
Yep.
Oh, poor Lucas. He took a beating in that episode.
Yeah.
He didn't take a beating. He took a big pill of reality. Is what he took.
Yeah. Sneeze real quick, jeez. So yeah, we're here. Golden Mojo Entertainment Complex.
It's finally happened.
Yes.
finally here.
Episode 10.
Mama, we made it.
And we are going to be talking about TV shows today.
Dun, dun, dun.
I've got a lot of TV shows under my belt.
Yeah.
Tons.
Yeah.
You've been alive.
I've been a
longer
long.
than us.
Yeah.
So we came up with a list of questions, or I did, I guess, and kind of added in whatever. I don't know that we're gonna go off of the questions, just kind of add a little bit
Perfect,
and
because
go
that's
like
the
that.
way we do
And
things.
yeah, just BS it and before Skylar it, and we'll be all right.
Yes.
So, just kind of let's start with the Emperor. Just
All
give
right.
us a little background on your life in TV.
Oh my goodness. I don't know where to even start. I mean, I've been watching TV for a lot of years.
Yeah, just start from like where you the first shows you watched. As a
All right.
kid.
Well, let me give you my rundown of TV shows, and I'll do this the best way I can. when I was growing up, always had a favorite TV show that was always on.
Mhm.
So my first TV show that I really liked and really watched religiously every week was Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, nice.
And I'm talking about the original coming on. I don't even remember what day it actually aired. I watched Starsky and Hutch, but the Dukes of Hazzard then came out. So Starsky and Hutch ran between 75 and 79, and then the Dukes started in 79. So when the Dukes of Hazzard came out, I just quit watching Starsky and Hutch because it became all about the Dukes of Hazzard. And I mean,
The good
Catherine
old
Bach
boys.
and those short Daisy Dukes, you know what I'm saying? Back then, I was only like 10, 11, 12.
So you're saying the Daisy Dukes ruined Starsky and Hutch?
Yes, there you go. That is exactly what I'm saying. So I watched Dukes of Hazzard religiously for a long time until, I guess, say a long time. I mean, what's long time in TV years?
Oh, gee.
3-4 years.
I mean, back in those days, they had some series that I felt like back in the 50s and 60s, you either made it for 2 or 4 seasons, or you lasted for 10 or 15 seasons.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, most of what I remember in my ladder, they didn't really last that long. So
Yeah.
I went from Starsky and Hutch to Dukes of Hazzard, and then from the Dukes of Hazzard, I went to Knight Rider. So when Knight Rider came out, it was like
Nice.
Dukes of what? No. We're watching Knight Rider now, and I went from Knight Rider to Miami Vice.
Oh,
Now I
like
remember Miami Vice distinctly. Every Friday night, shit had to be shut down at 8:00 because Miami Vice was on.
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's kind of my stare. From there, I don't know that I really had anything that I particularly had to watch every week. You guys are lucky in today's world. You didn't. We talked about this a little bit before you got here about. What do you call it? The Farmer Five?
I call it the Farmer
That's what
Five.
it
Farmer
Yeah.
Five. See, I remember when it was only 3. The other 2 you were lucky to get.
Yeah, especially living here. Well,
Yeah.
have you always lived
well,
in
I
Evergreen?
lived up north of here where my mom still lives
Okay.
now. But yeah, out in the country, you had the rabbit ears and you were constantly twisting them, trying to get it to be not pixelated. And,
And prayed for a non-windy day.
yeah, exactly.
Or cloudy, as we talked about before, too.
Yeah, cloudy.
So we didn't have all that, like you guys can binge watch now.
Mhm.
And even when I was young, there was no VCRs or. I was telling Gunner, my grandpa bought a Betamax when they first came out,
Nice.
and that's kind of where we started. We were kind of record some of those shows, and then I remember my dad buying our first VHS player, which had a wired remote. He had the damn wire stretched across the fucking living room, and it was only like 4 buttons. You had
Yeah.
your play, your stop, your fast forward, and rewind, and that's all there was to it. So we did watch these on time, or you were just done. You
Yeah.
didn't. There was
Yeah.
no reruns. Even in the summertime, there wasn't a ton of like reruns, and you didn't know when they were. And we had the TV guide.
I remember my grandparents collected those G-Dame
Oh, yeah.
TV guides.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, boy, oh boy, were they annoying.
Yep. Mom and Dad collected them, too.
Yeah,
And
some of them. I mean, most of them we threw out, but if you had a good cover, then we would keep those. I still have a few around here somewhere. But my Saturday mornings were all about cartoons.
You're old.
I am old. We love the TV guide, man. You sit there and go through the whole, the big
Yeah,
list.
I'm surprised they didn't have like a highlighter. Like, this is what we need to watch.
Exactly. Bobby, go to page 14. Need to see what we're watching tonight.
You know what they do now? They just DVR it, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
they go back and watch.
That's what my boss
Everything,
does. He's
yeah.
got a DVR just full of stuff. And he's like, well, there's nothing on I want to watch, so let's go to the DVR.
Yep.
Crazy.
That's Bobby now. She has everything DVR'd, and then she goes back and watches it religiously every week.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm in Studio G. I don't really care. I don't really.
If you went in right now, she's probably watching Top Chef.
Or Hell's Kitchen, or
Yeah.
Master
Kitchen
Chef, or Master
Nightmares.
Chef Junior.
Almost want to go check.
yeah. Always.
But Saturday mornings was the ultimate back in the day, and you guys are missing out on this because I remember getting up at like 4:00 in the morning, get my big bowl of Cheerios, and I would sit there till 1:00 in the afternoon, just and I don't remember what it is now. I wish I could, but I had.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, 6:30, this one comes on. It's on this channel. And you watch it for half an hour, and then you switch over to this channel. Or if you were lucky, they were back-to-back. You didn't have to get up and turn the dial.
Yeah, oh, yeah. You
But-
were the remote.
Yeah, I was the remote
Yeah.
when I was younger. So that's pretty much my TV deal there. That's pretty much me growing up with TV.
Yeah, and we'll like I said, we'll go back to the questions and kind of fill in later a
Right.
little bit what we're talking about. But
Yeah, because I have a list of other shows, but those were my big ones growing up.
yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Colton?
I would say I remember my first cartoon was Scooby-Doo.
Right on.
Like the old Scooby-Doo.
When it was still good.
Where are you?
Yeah, Scooby-Doo, where are you? Where you met one person and the villain, and it just so happened to turn out that the villain was always the one person you met.
Old Man Jenkins.
Old Man Jenkins.
I would have got away with it. One for you kids and that dog.
Yep.
Exactly. So yeah, I grew up watching those. I loved Scooby-Doo. Had Scooby-Doo PJs growing up. Loved those. So I do remember the Saturday morning cartoons, but that interfered with a lot of basketball
Right.
and sports on Saturday, so I couldn't watch them all the time. And then even just growing up, I'd always have a practice or something going on at night if I wasn't watching already like a baseball game or a basketball game. I mean, I watched a lot of sports growing up, so
Yeah.
I remember in '98, I still had a love for a teddy bear, and it was game 6, Bulls versus Jazz in the finals, and it's Michael Jordan with the step back jumper on Brian Russell, hits it, and right before that happened, there was a timeout, and my mom said that if the Bulls don't win this game, I'm going to kick your bear out of the house. And I was like, oh, come on, Bulls, you better win, you better win. So, then when I get probably right, because we didn't really have DirecTV. We had it for a little bit, and then, of course, 2 years they lock in the price, and then after that, they
Right.
jack it up
Yep.
on you.
Yeah.
So that pissed my dad off. So then we went back to the Farmer 5, probably until maybe I was a senior in high school, maybe junior in high school. I can't really remember. But we would watch CBS. Me and my dad was CBS every night. Our favorite show was probably The Mentalist.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then the original CSI.
Yeah.
And then when NCIS came out, that was Tuesday nights. CSI was Thursdays. And I believe The Mentalist was either a Thursday night show or a Wednesday night show. Yeah. We were 2.5 Men.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
anything. We were like, our family was a strictly CBS family for TV shows.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
No.
But we just flipped on CBS and watched whatever was on. The new Miami 5-0. I remember watching.
You mean
that.
Hawaii 5-0?
Hawaii 5-0, Miami 5-0. You got me on Miami Vice. Hawaii 5-0, yeah. That one. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Outside of what they do now.
I just bumped my hat on my
Gosh.
microphone. There's no paranormal stuff going on.
Amateur.
Yeah. Wow. Like you got a new desk or something.
So, most of my TV time was watching sports.
Right.
So the TV I did get to watch, it was mostly CBS. So that's me. What about you, Gunner?
So I grew up living mostly with my Nana. Well, we'd come home from school and we'd go straight to Nana's, and then they'd come pick us up later. So, and like when I was younger, like kindergarten, I'd come back half days. Colton's dropping his phone. And
I am an amateur, though.
yeah. And Nana would always have Game Show Network on.
Oh,
Always.
my God. I forgot about the Game
Yeah.
Show Network.
So, man, I watched all
Yes.
those shows. You got Card Sharks and
Yep.
Newlywed Game and Press Your Luck and Whammy, like all these
It was
shows.
the original. Was it the original shows?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Or the
Oh,
remade
yeah.
shows?
No, it
No.
was the original
Oh,
back in those
nice.
days. Yeah.
You know, you have all those hosts that were just so fun to watch, and a lot of them crossed over into these other shows, so you're watching these guys all day. But the other thing I always watched there was Tom and Jerry, and I was a huge Tom and Jerry. What are you doing?
I might have drank a little too close to the microphone. Sorry.
He really is being an amateur
Jeez.
hour. The call guys in the podcast room. He's freaking out.
I'm trying to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's over here.
Oh, you're good.
The Emperor's just like, I'm just gonna make this whatever I want.
I'm so used to editing things out that's
Editing things.
Yeah,
out. We don't edit.
Oh, we don't
We're
edit it out.
We're a one-trick pony. Here, okay.
Oh, there are edits. Trust me.
that might get edited out right
Yeah.
there. Sorry, buddy. Go ahead. So, Game Show Network.
Yeah, so Game Show Network, and watched a lot of that with Nana. But then when it came to cartoons, 1 o'clock was always an hour-long Tom and Jerry. So we'd always watch Tom and Jerry. And I fell in love with both of those characters. Like, I was always watching Tom and Jerry, 1 o'clock every day. And
Right.
Nana loved it too, so she'd sit back and watch it with me. So it was always fun to do that. Yet, when Mom started taking care of her is when we started getting shows like Survivor and watching those constantly. And I think Survivor is really what gave me my love for just watching TV, because it was one of those things that you watch these people doing extraordinary things. I mean, living in the woods, obviously they probably had more care taken of them than like somebody like is it Les Stroud and Bear Grylls and those guys that go out and do it by themselves or whatever.
Well, Les
has a
is
crew.
by himself.
The
Bear
has a crew,
has a
yeah.
whole film crew that goes with him. I mean, he's not shy about saying that,
Oh yeah.
talking to him, but, Les goes out there with his own, little batch of cameras and
Yeah.
survives for, 14 days?
Yeah, something
whatever
like
it
that.
is.
So yeah, Survivor was just one of those big things, and it's still running today. Like, and I don't watch it nearly as much now as I used to, but I would credit that to my love for watching TV, because me and Mom watched it, and me and Mom had a lot of shows that we watched, like The Following and The River and Surface, and there was just a long, crapshoot list of TV shows that we watched, and most of them aren't on anymore, obviously, but.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're younger and those shows go away, like you said, if they ran for 4 seasons, you were happy. And
Yeah. It's kind of crazy how that I feel like how the industry has really changed in that aspect, because now they want shows to last forever.
you have shows that are in their 25th, 26th season.
Yeah.
And Survivor hit 45 or 55.
Something
I
like
don't
that.
even remember.
It's
It
a
is
lot.
nuts.
Yeah, the downside of that is that they're running 2 seasons a year.
Yeah.
You can't fall into that 45 years, like say The Price is Right, you're talking about game shows. The Price is Right. They've been on for 5 decades.
Yeah.
Even though Bob Barker is no longer the host. I mean, now it's Drew Carey, but still that hole has gone on for all these, like I said, 5 decades. It has to be 5 decades.
When you got the
doesn't it?
same thing with Let's Make a Deal, too. Like, they run
Yeah.
back to back, and you got Wayne Brady taking
Right.
over,
But I think there was a break though for a little bit, and Wayne Brady
Revived
revived
it. Yeah.
And the other
But
one,
yeah.
the other one's Jeopardy.
Yeah, Jeopardy.
Oh
that's
my
same
God,
way.
yeah, and although I don't think Jeopardy will ever be the same without Alex
No,
Trebek,
no,
but
definitely
No.
not. The new guy is good. I don't even know what his name is, but he is pretty good.
is he good?
Yeah.
All I know is that the controversy that followed the new people that they tried to bring in has just been insanely stupid.
Yeah.
What was it? I can't even think of the guy the head of the producer or whatever that came in, and all of a sudden now everybody's like, he touched me in a bad place, and it's like,
Oh,
wait a
yeah,
minute, what
he
the
got-
hell?
Yeah.
And then of course Milik blah blah blah. What are you from
From Big Bang.
the
Big
Big
Bang
Bang
Theory,
Theory? Yeah. There was controversy around her too. I don't even think she's doing it anymore, is she?
She did the College of Champions.
I think
Gotcha.
she co-hosts. I mean, I think she co-hosts.
She's kinda
so every
slips in
once
there
in a
once in a
while
while.
she does it.
And the College of Champions was super fun to watch. I actually sat and watched that.
See, now you talk about that, and we talk about Survivor. I hate Survivor.
Mhm.
I think it's an anxiety thing for me because I can't stand that. Well, I'm going to get Colton on my team. We're going to vote out Gunner, but unless Gunner thinks he's going to vote out Colton, then
Oh, yeah.
The Tournament of Champions with Guy Fieri, I'd freaking watch that every week if it was on all the time. That is one of the greatest tournament shows that I think is going, because it's just amazing to watch. And I have my favorites, and I'm always rooting them on, and I'm
Yeah.
always pissed when they lose.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that I've noticed a lot with watching TV with my wife, is that we really, really enjoy watching cooking competition shows, any and all of them.
Yeah.
Right now, I think I know my favorite one to watch is there's a food truck one that goes out.
Yep.
I know, yeah, I've seen
And
that.
that's one of our favorite ones to watch, or at least my favorite, I should say. I don't know about hers, but that's like that kind of stuff. That's the kind of TV shows I enjoy watching now.
Did you see the one that they put out? And we always watched a lot of that. We watched the food truck ones. We watched different ones like that. But they did one called like Backyard Bar Wars.
Yeah.
Backyard Bar. Oh yeah, Backyard Bar Wars. Yep.
Did you ever watch that one? That one's badass. You know, those guys building those bars and stuff in their backyard and doing all the different things with taps and.
The one that I thought was really cool is the guy had a chandelier, and they ran. I think it was whiskey. I don't remember exactly what, champagne possibly. I don't remember. It was something, but you hit the tap and it would pour out and it would fill the glasses that hung and you would just take them off.
No kidding. I missed that one.
It was
I didn't see that one.
sweet.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I'm like, wow. Imagine all that they had to run up and the pressure and all that stuff that has to work
Oh,
through
yeah.
that. But no,
Yeah, that's insanely crazy. But yeah, I don't personally like reality shows. Reality shows drive me crazy. And Bobby loves them. Your mom, she absolutely loves them. She watches them all. So
I love the strategy of it. But then again, I get mad when it's my guy and they're all like, or my person, they're all ganging up, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is the person you want to take to the end, like, because you'll win because this person is this, and done this. And
yeah, I think there's two types of reality shows, and I don't like reality shows in the sense of something like Jersey Shore. I cannot stand that stuff.
That's not. That's just.
But I would call something like Big Brother also a reality show. And Big Brother is more of a competition style show too. They do games and they do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Darren got me to watch a little bit of it when we were in college, but I never really got into it after that, post college. So the one that I have actually on my notes because it was one of those shows that was unique. It's called Unreal. And what it is it's not a TV show like a reality show. It's a TV show in the sense of it's actually filmed and everything like that, and it's cinematography. It's not just like handheld cameras and all that. It's a background of a reality TV show. So you're watching the show about the people that are filming it and the people that are, the producers and directors and all that. Mm-hmm. And it is a really good show. It's a drama, but it's super good. You'll have to check it out. I think it's on Hulu. Pretty sure.
Okay.
It's called Unreal.
Unreal.
Okay. Yeah, and the main actress is good looking. So.
Oh, it makes it that much easier to watch.
I can't remember who it is, but it's really good.
Yeah, how many times do you gauge what you watch by how hot the main actress is?
I really don't
Not very
care.
much.
I don't.
Well, I'm gonna go to Castle and
Castle, the Ghost Whisperer. Oh, good Lord, MacGyver, the new version of MacGyver with Tristan Mays. Oh, come on. You didn't watch it for that?
No.
Okay. I guess it was just me.
Yeah. But yeah, so I watched most of my TV I watched was with Mom and Dad and Nana. And that all brings back good memories of coming home and watching that 70s show because it was always on at 4 o'clock when we got home, and we're just watching through it. And we'd watch through it once and then it would restart and we'd watch through it again. Yeah. Just constantly. And yeah, so
yeah, when he was like 4 years old, he would come home. He'd be like, "Dad, no whammies, no whammies,
no whammies, nice.
No whammies and stop." You know what? Press Your Luck is the original, right?
Yes.
They came out with a show called Whammy.
Yeah.
And the only difference really in the show itself was the fact that whatever the whammy did on the screen, it actually would drop popcorn or whatever,
right on.
and that was so much more fun to watch. And that was
that was Alfonso who hosted that, the guy from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the Carlton day. It was Carlton.
Did he go back after? It was probably later on because the original host, I can't remember what his name was, but he was.
It must have been the remake of it then, because now Elizabeth.
Yeah, there's another
does
one. There's
Elizabeth
another.
Banks
Yeah,
does
there's
now.
Really.
They've remade it multiple
she does a
times.
really good job. She hasn't once said it yet, but if I was on that show, I would make her say just one time, "May the odds be ever in your favor." Like that's what I've been waiting for her to say it, and she hasn't. Said it
you're
once.
talking.
It's Elizabeth Mays.
That's not Press Your Luck though.
Oh.
That's Oh man, what's the name of that show? You don't know Press Your Luck?
Yeah, big bucks, no whammies, and
Elizabeth
stop.
Banks does that now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Google it right now, brother.
Oh,
I love you. I love you a lot right now. We could go on this
No,
fight
that's
right now.
No, you did. I 100% believe you. I haven't watched it in years. I'm trying to think.
The new one, she does. I mean, she does a really good job of it. I think, and the format's different.
Okay.
If you win and you're the last one, you have the most, and you survive, you go to a final.
Okay.
And there's like 3 or 4 tiers you go through, and they put these big prizes on here that you've always wanted or stuff like that to entice you to go to to risk it all to get to the next level. And once you get 4 whammies, you're out. Or at the end of each round, you can stop and you could take what you have in the bank and all the prizes you've won, or you can press your luck and go for the next level.
Okay. Huh.
So that's kind of one of the things that they done.
Nice.
Which is kind of neat.
You guys' grocery game has ended up doing that now too. It used to be that the winner would run around and throw stuff in the cart, and now I think the newest season, they have a check behind the door. You know, you can win up to $20,000, running around there, or you can take the check. And that's kind of a new thing that they've added on this year. But that's kind of that whole let's make a deal type.
Yeah.
Well, another thing.
Synopsis.
Another thing is Supermarket Sweep.
Yeah.
Is the one with Leslie Jones now. It used to be at the beginning you would win so much money per item that you found at the end on the big sweep. But now it's only 1 money if you get through the end or something like that. It's different than what it was for the first couple seasons.
I don't think I ever watched that one. I don't know.
It's not bad. She's not bad. I think it's a little too forced sometimes, but she's really funny. I think it's more so the people that they get for the show. It's like they do a really good job of finding the ones who are really far out there sometimes.
Yeah.
And then that brings you around to American Idol.
The show that goes away and somehow comes back.
Yeah, somehow comes back. Yeah, we talked about stuff earlier, and it reminded me of American Idol. I don't remember exactly what was said, but it became more of a popularity contest than it was about actual talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we were talking about that the other day with Daughtry, and how Daughtry went and was like, 5th or 4th and got voted out, or he definitely should have won that season. But Sanjaya, he went all the way up in there because people wanted to see how bad he would be the next week.
Yeah.
So they would just vote him through.
Yep.
I quit watching. I just stopped. Couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. I was never really a big fan of American Idol, but like The Voice was something that was
The
a little
Voice
more
was
real.
The Voice was good, and of course, I watched it originally because Christina Aguilera was on it. Good Lord Almighty,
She had that one song, "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time," right? Oh, I was hoping for a better reaction.
You don't disappoint him. That's like his long lost wife.
His long lost wife.
Although, if you gave me Brittany and Christina in the same room for
right now,
2.5 minutes, I mean, I could really do some damage to myself.
Well, you got posters. I'm pretty sure you got a Brittany poster in
There
there
is.
and a Christina poster in
I
there.
did see
Just
them.
put
I
those
did
in
see
the
'em.
same room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's
Then you
as
could
close
do
as you're
some
going to
damage
get.
to
Yeah.
yourself.
Close as you're going to get.
So, let's move on to a question.
Okay.
We can kinda
Well,
get-
we're at an hour now, buddy.
We're doing
so
great.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
doing great.
I just want to make sure you
Let's
know.
move on to a question.
we just call this Sunday, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, it is. I'm here as long as you guys want to stay. I'll sit right here and talk to both of you for as long as you want to.
So, can you guys give me your top 3 TV shows of all time?
I went first last time.
How do you want to do this? Do you want me to just do all 3?
Yeah, and then just kind of, I don't know, we'll ask questions.
Okay. I'll start. I'll start with my number 3 show.
Okay.
1989 to 1998. Can you guess what show that was?
89 to 98.
Yep.
9-year run.
Wow. No, I got nothing.
Seinfeld.
Oh.
A show about
Nothing.
nothing.
Well, let me tell you guys something.
Yeah. So the opener. I've actually got the intro in my notes here. I actually did notes, people, for
Oh,
first time. First time.
applause. We need a clap
Legitimate
track.
notes. Stars Jerry Seinfeld as Jerry, Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Elaine Bennis, who has showed up in the MCU.
Yes, she has.
Yes.
And I think
Is Jerry Seinfeld going to show up in the MCU?
I don't know, but every one of my top 3 shows have somebody in somewhat of the MCU.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if they are in the DC universe. I wonder why. I got Michael Richards, who is Cosmo Kramer.
Oh, nice.
And Jason Alexander, George Costanza. Those are the 4 main characters. Just it's funny because it's just everyday stuff they talk about and they go through. And I think it's kind of somewhat relatable. Some of my favorite recurring characters are Jerry's parents, Morty and Helen. George's parents, I think, are my favorite of the parents. Frank and Estelle, who's Jerry Stiller, and
Nice.
Estelle Harris, who is Mrs. Potato Head
Nice.
from the Toy Story movies. Newman.
Yeah.
Wayne Knight, who's Ned from Jurassic Park, for those who don't know.
Yep.
And then one of my favorite ones, he was actually in a couple episodes, but it was mostly his voiceover work, was Larry David.
Oh, right.
He played Steinbrenner as his
Nice.
voice when George was at work, and they did Steinbrenner. And they actually had an episode with Steinbrenner in it, but he was so bad that
They voiced him over. No
he
kidding.
was so bad that they cut the scene altogether.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So, some catchphrases, no soup for you.
That's true.
The
Yep.
soup
Yep,
Nazi,
the soup
that was a
Nazi,
great. George talks about shrinkage.
Yep.
I just got out of the pool.
I just got out of the pool. They go to dinner, they go upstairs, yada yada yada. I wake up the next morning. Like that was a recurring joke that they always had. And then the double dip. You take the chip, you dip it, you eat it, and then you dip it again. The same side. That's a double dip.
Yep.
And that whole thing just cracks me up all the time.
I always enjoyed the stand-up.
The bits in the beginning.
Yeah. I
Well,
always thought that
the
was cool.
first season, those were actual bits. He was like, those are actual stand-up bits he was doing.
Yeah.
And then obviously as the show got more popular, they became a little bit more staged and not live bits.
I didn't. How do I put this? Everybody loves Seinfeld. I missed it somehow. I mean, it's funny you talking about those things, and I remember those things. And I ain't not gonna lie, I live my life on the double dip. I will not double dip. I will break a chip off into 2 pieces and dip one side, eat it, and then dip the other side and eat it. I mean, it wasn't for me. I always said that I was too old for it or something, or it just missed me as far as like the age group. But I know people love it, and I never had anything bad to say about it because you just rattled off some of the biggest pop culture things that ever come out of that show, and they're long lasting. So
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things is the intro on it. That bass line, yeah, everybody knows. If you were just to play that, you're like a Seinfeld.
Yep.
oh yeah,
It's really good. I really like that as a fellow bassist. So, that's a fun one to try to play. And this was Larry David's actual first shot at directing and creating and writing, like doing a whole show after SNL. So I thought it was kind of his springboard into what he's become now.
right.
So I thought that was kind of neat. I should have also said beforehand, before this started, that I will miss a lot of things. So if I say something and I get a phone call from somebody that said, "How can you forget this?"
Oh yeah.
The warning is out now. I will forget at least one or two things.
The
So
whole
what is that?
CW episode.
What is that? The callguyspodcast at gmail.com.
Yeah. Send it on over.
Just send it on over.
Just be ready. All right, so this is actually a reprised series.
Okay.
Started and that rebooted back in 2005 and actually is going on today. Can you guess this series? 2005. Gunner, for your help. You've been to my house. It is it deals with something in my house
Oh.
that I painted.
Yep. I know what it is.
Go ahead.
Doctor Who.
That's right.
Ah.
I have the TARDIS door
Yeah,
painted
his
in my
basement door.
basement.
Oh, nice. I
'Cause
missed
it's
that
big-
when I was there. I
It's
didn't see
bigger
it.
on the inside.
Yeah.
Yep. And so it's one of the longest running time jokes in the Doctor Who universe.
Right.
Yeah, right. Because it is a universe.
It really is.
Yes.
It's a BBC show, so I don't know if there's a lot of folks now. Well, there's probably a lot more folks who have seen it now, but back in the day, it was just over there, and I think it got cut in the 70s or 80s.
I was saying, when did that come out?
I want to say that started. I didn't put that down, but
Oh,
I think
that's all
I think
right.
it started in the 60s.
Right on. I
50s
just
or 60s.
you make that reference, and like I said, I never really watched Doctor Who, so I mean, your list is way different than mine. But is that did the Harry Potter and what is the girl who wrote Harry Potter? Did she steal that? I mean, from the Who universe, or
I don't think so, because this is a lot different. This is a way different.
Well, but still, when
The
they put the
whole
tents
bigger-
up, is
bigger
what
the
I'm getting at. You
inside
go on
thing,
the
yeah.
inside, you have
Oh,
this
I'm
little
sure.
pop-up tent. and-
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she might have, but it's magic at that point. in
Well,
time,
yeah,
and-
that's true.
I have to show you a
But-
video later that she didn't write Harry Potter. She stole Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that. I've totally seen that.
Yeah.
I've totally seen that video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insanely crazy
Yeah.
and accurate.
So I'm gonna start with 05 and just kind of go to present day a little bit.
Yeah.
The Ninth Doctor is Christopher Eccleston. Come on, this is the MCU reference.
Christopher Eccleston.
I should be shot at this point.
One of the lower ranking MCU movies made.
Oh my! What, like the Incredible Hulk?
Not the lowest.
No,
not the worst.
you're going Thor. I'm assuming.
Oh
Thor,
yeah,
Dark World.
Dark World. Yep.
Did he play the villain?
What's the villain's name?
I cannot think of the villain's name.
I can't either. I can't either.
Malekith. Yes.
Oh, there
Yep.
you go.
And I didn't know that. And my wife told me that we were watching it. And she's like, oh, that's Christopher Eccleston. And you can't tell that's Christopher Eccleston because of all the makeup and the stuff he's
Yeah,
wearing.
yeah.
They did a really good job. And he played he was only on Doctor Who for one season.
Yeah.
And he got screwed by the BBC big
Yeah.
time.
I had to look at his face. Sorry.
I did too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
There was a lot of stuff about working. He claimed work environment. They claimed they only wanted him for one season because it was just going to see how that went.
Yeah.
And then if it went well, then they would reprise the whole role altogether. But
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I thought this would be your number one show, and
I
I'm trying
know.
to now think of what your number one would be.
I know. But anywho, his companion. So the Doctor always has a companion with him.
Yep.
So that's important to know throughout the whole thing, and it's always brought up. An interesting thing is that each season starts Christmas time.
Mhm.
They do this big Christmas special, and it kicks off the season of Doctor Who.
Okay.
So that's a little bit different than especially what goes around here, because it's usually the time that there's a big Christmas episode, and it's like halfway of the season.
Right.
Yeah.
Here. Let's see. David Tennant.
Yes.
He was in Harry Potter. There you go. There's a Harry Potter reference.
Also an MCU, isn't he?
Yeah.
He was.
What is he?
Oh.
Come on.
Dad's favorite show. He was in one of the.
I'm
shows,
sorry. I'm still
correct?
looking at pictures of Christopher Eccleston.
Oh my God.
And I'm trying to. He was in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah. MCU. We haven't talked
No,
about
no.
Gone in
I
60
just
Seconds.
happened to see that on there, and I'm trying to figure out who he was.
He's over here
and,
Googling.
Yeah.
Call guys in the studio, and he's being amateur.
Gee.
I'm just hanging out. Okay, sorry.
Are you hanging out?
I'm just hanging
Jessica
out.
Jones.
Very
Yes,
good.
thank you.
Oh,
Very good.
He
Who-
was.
David Tennant. You know who David Tennant is?
Yes, I do know David Tennant. He was
Broadchurch. That's a BBC. That's another BBC show.
no. What else? He was in something here more recently.
He's in a Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, he was in
That
Order
little
of the
drummer boy.
Phoenix.
in the games one too. He was in. He was in a bunch of them.
Isn't that Order? No, that's not Order of the Phoenix. The one before that. Goblet of Fire.
Goblet of Fire. There you go.
Yeah, he's Barty Crouch's son.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yes, yeah. That's and there. Yeah, there was something
But he
else.
was also in Jessica Jones.
Jessica
was-
Jones.
He was Kilgraves. No.
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't think of his name.
I'd have to Google that one. Google David Tennant.
Damn it.
Emperor.
Hold on.
Guys.
Hold on, people. Now we got a million
So,
questions.
is he
going
your
on.
favorite doctor?
Tony, I'm looking right in the camera, bud. David Tennant is not my favorite doctor, and you know this. And I love you, okay? But
He
I
prof-
will die on this hill that Tennant is a great doctor.
That's gonna be a T-shirt. BT way.
It could, yeah, I'm
gonna
okay
die
with
on
that.
this hill.
I'm okay with that. David Tennant's great, but he's not my favorite. And I said my favorite, okay? So there's a wiggle room there.
Yeah.
Tennant is a real he played the doctor in a really special way. I feel like he was angry, and he played that role, and all the decisions he made were mostly based out of, I don't want to say anger, but he always had that side in him who was not afraid to really twist the knife, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he was really great. He was there for 4 years. His companion was Rose Tyler, and Donna, who is Catherine Tate from The Office. She's the redheaded from The Office.
Okay.
So that's what most people know her as, but she was in Doctor Who before.
Okay.
And then Tennant, he made it through 2006 to 2010. And then Matt Smith, my favorite doctor. He was
As
after
he
that.
looks into the camera.
He's talking directly to Tony.
Yeah, I'm talking directly to Tony. Number 11's Matt Smith. He was there for technically 2010 to 2013. And I think the reason why Matt Smith was one of my favorites is because his companions it was Rory, who is Arthur Darvill, I believe is how you say his last name, and then Amy Pond, Karen Gillian. Jeremy, do you know who that is?
Karen Gillian.
Yeah.
I'm not over the top of my head.
Son
Sorry.
of a gun. Why did we bring him on the show?
It's episode 10.
He had the studio. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's important for the
Nebula.
Oh yeah.
Oh, see, he didn't know either.
You didn't know?
I wouldn't have pulled her name.
Are you serious?
So what you're
Oh.
saying is everybody that's in Doctor Who
There's
is
a
in the
lot
MCU.
of there's a
Lot
lot of
of
Doctor
references.
Whovians who are
Who's. There's a lot of Who's in Whoville.
And I think it's pretty cool that the BBC people translate over like that really well.
yeah, they do.
By the way, he was Kilgrave. He was the main bad
Okay.
guy in Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Okay, well, Gunner did say Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was
Yeah.
his name.
Yeah, that was his name in the
Oh,
show. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, see, but that brings back the whole Marvel against DC. Did you not watch all the Marvel TV shows?
I didn't make it all through Jessica Jones yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah,
Good. The first season is amazing. The second season is a little okay, but I mean, the first season is.
She was my favorite.
I was
that's part
rewatching. So what I was trying to do, I was rewatching Daredevil,
Yeah.
and then I was going to go into Jessica
Right.
Jones, and then Iron Fist and Luke Cage. And
You might as well. You know what? There's no point in even watching Iron Fist.
I heard. That's what I've heard.
Have you not even tried it?
No, because I want to stick with the timeline.
It is.
What you ought to do is watch the Arrowverse. Anyways, what's your number one?
Okay.
Yeah, give us your number one.
Oh my gosh, I got 10 more stuff to do
Oh,
on
oh.
Doctor Who here.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll say this. Doctor Who had two really good writers, and that's Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat. I think it's Moffat. Moffat.
Wolf it.
Yeah, I don't know. Tony could say it, but
Yeah.
anywho, when those two were at the helm of the head writers for the show was great. There was a timeline, there were stories that were being told throughout the whole thing, and everything made sense and everything flowed. As soon as those two bounced, the show went downhill real quick. And that has nothing to do with Peter Capaldi, who was after Matt Smith, and Jodie Whittaker, who was after that, who she did the best she could with what she had. I mean, she was screwed from Jump Street. Mm-hmm. And the new guy that they got coming in, I don't know much about him, but Russell T Davies is coming back to be a writer on the show.
Nice.
So I'm probably going to get back into it just because of that. I mean, we could talk another 2 hours on all the stuff that they screwed up.
Right.
on Doctor Who for those years, for the last 5-6 years, but
Yeah.
it's not that episode. The number one.
That's gonna be an episode, though. I have a feeling.
Oh, and every year, every season, they fought the Daleks and the Cybermen. You
Okay.
want to go start at 05, Google Daleks, and to now, yeah, you want to talk about some upgraded in technology. It was.
I bet.
It's comical now to look at.
Yeah.
But the number one show that I teased with Lucas
Yes.
Oh,
was from-
that's right. I forgot
from
you teased it.
08 to 2013. It was on AMC.
Oh.
Oh, wait, no. Okay.
Breaking Bad.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
Breaking Bad is the best TV show ever created. Ever created. By the man Vince Gilligan. And I called him Gilligan. I don't know if that's it. But I'm going to call him Gilligan.
Right on.
He did an amazing job with this. From the very first episode to the very last episode.
Mhm.
Every episode went somewhere and meant something for not just for the episode before and after it, but for the
whole
entire
thing.
season.
right.
And then for the entire season to the next season.
Mhm.
And that's because they nailed the casting, I think, is the biggest thing. Is that those actors and actresses really pulled it all together. Walter White, Jesse Pinkman, Skylar, Hank, Gus, Saul, my favorite characters. They're watching their stories from the beginning to the end, or till they died.
Mhm.
Their story arcs are amazing.
Spoiler.
Yeah, it's 2013. We're almost 10 years out of it. I don't think if it's 9 years, I don't think you get a spoiler alert.
I want to know what made that show so popular in like 2018 and above. Because if it came out and it ended in 2013, was it streaming services?
It
That's
has
gotta
to.
be.
It has to be because it was one of the first ones you could actually just binge.
I think
Yeah.
it was one of the first you could binge on Netflix from
Yeah.
the first season to the last season
Okay.
with no breaks or waiting. Because The Walking Dead did that, but they were always a season behind.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Even their good seasons.
The Sons of Anarchy was the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go and binge the whole entire season, but you didn't get it until the new season was actually started.
Correct.
Well, and South Park kind of does that, but they do it by episode. Like it'll air on Comedy Central, but you won't get it till the next day or whatever.
Right.
So you have
Yeah.
to wait, a little bit. But
Yeah, but by the time I think it came to Netflix, it was already done.
Right.
okay,
So
that makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
I have never seen Breaking Bad. It's not that I have anything against it. I just have never taken the time to binge it.
okay. Well,
Probably because it reminds me too much of Sons.
oh really?
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all the violence and your favorite characters getting killed off. I mean, that was how it was with Sons. That's probably why I didn't go back and watch. There's a lot of those shows I didn't go back to watch because it just pissed me off so much when they killed off my favorite character.
See that I think honestly that's what makes a good show is you're not afraid to get dirty with the big names.
Right, and
And-
it's understandable. I totally get your point on that. But for me, you've watched it for 5, 6, 7 seasons. You watch your favorite character on there, and all of a sudden they knife him in a parking lot without even or in my case, he gets killed with a baseball bat to the head in jail.
Intense episode.
So
Yeah.
the real reason why I believe it's number one, after the 4th season filmed and they wrapped it up, AMC came to Vince and said, "Hey, here's a blank check. I want you," because he went into it doing 5 seasons. That was it. No more, no less. This is going to be 5 seasons long. After the 4th season, they come in and say, "Hey, Vince, we want you to do another season or 2." He pretty much just gave a middle finger, just said, "No, that's not what's good for the story."
Right.
That to me tells me that he's worried about the content of the show. He's worried about the story of the show, not because of the money.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it, in my book, because The Walking Dead is the most prime example out there right now of why that show is terrible.
And it should have died a long time
It should have
ago.
died a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Season 1's great. Season 2's pretty good. After that, I couldn't watch it anymore.
I think I made it to season 4, and then when I watched half of season 5, and it was the same stuff that it was going through, I was like, this is just wash, rinse, repeat.
I made it to episode 2.
That's
Let me tell you why. Because Skylar had brought home the graphic novel, and I had actually read the graphic novel.
So you didn't like the...
They immediately just veered off of what they're taking it from, and I thought, well, this is going to be bullshit, so why would I want to watch this? It's not even near what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure there people love it. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to piss off your listeners that...
I'm trying. Well, if they've made it this far, they've survived through me. So
Yeah. So Colton, Breaking Bad's not my number 1 show.
that's a shame.
But I think it has one of the best first seasons of television ever. That first season is so good. When you meet him and you feel him, you feel what he's going through. It's just.
He's going through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
In that first season, and it's actually if you go by Rotten Tomatoes scores, it's actually the worst ranked season. But
Really?
I think it's one of the top. I think it's one of the top 2 seasons.
I agree.
So what you're saying is Rotten Tomatoes ain't worth Rotten Tomatoes.
I'll have me. That is what I'm. I will die on that hill. I think that it is. What did you call it? You said it is the. Oh man, I can't remember what it was, but you called it something in Lucas's episode when he was talking about Supergirl. You said it's like the blank.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'd have to re-listen to that.
Angie's List. You said it was the Angie's List
yes,
of movie
it's
ratings.
the Angie's List.
Yeah,
because I think it is. I
Yeah.
really do think it is.
Yeah, I think they don't get as many people rating, I think, too, as much as like IMDb does, and you get more of the actual fan service rating it instead of it being critics or whatever.
Critics are
and I think critics, you see that on a movie. Critics rave, this is 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then you go see it, and it's like, no.
Yeah, Lucas kind of died on that hill real hard when he come back with the Rotten Tomatoes gave it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, only 18 people voted.
Yes, and I was like, are you serious? Like,
Yeah.
you can't take that.
Yeah.
That's not enough people. Honorable mentions, I'm not going into depth like I just went into with these 3.
Okay.
Honorable mentions, this was tough for me, was Game of Thrones and the Ozarks.
Okay.
I just finished the Ozarks. Lots of spoilers. The 4th season is amazing. The pace of those shows, I think, is what makes those TV shows.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for, we can forget the last season of Game of Thrones because it was rushed. I think that's the most frustrating thing is that they were so methodical in the first 7 seasons with every single thing. And for some reason, this last season had to be rushed. I just wish they'd go back and redo it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with how it ended. I really think that
Sarah was very upset.
Yeah,
with that show.
I was okay with the people who died and how it ended. I was okay with that. I just didn't like how quick they got there, with especially how methodical the whole show was leading up to that point.
Yeah.
Too many things happened too fast in the Game of Thrones universe.
Well, we see that a lot in the MCU shows. You're like, really, you see all these, slow, methodical episodes, and then the last 2 episodes of the season are like, Moon Knight did it.
Yeah, Moon Knight's a prime example, yeah.
Yeah, it was so fast and so short, and you're like, why did they spend all that time just to, like, kill the last episode? But the last episode was great, so
it's a catch-22 really on it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Ozarks is great. Jason Bateman, great. The gal who played Rose, or not Rose, can't think of her name right now. Man, I should have wrote it down. I can't think of her.
It's all good.
I know you had a lot
Ruth.
You had a lot of good information on your top 3. I think we can let you slide on the back.
I don't think we did nearly.
No, I
as much
didn't
on our tops.
have that information.
I'll be honest, I was worried because I knew I was coming to the Emperors, and I was like, man, I got to have my stuff. If I don't have my stuff together,
That's okay.
So I could still be talking. I didn't even talk about my favorite recurring actors and actresses on Breaking Bad. I just want you to know that. But we can move on. We digress.
Dad, give me yours. What you got?
I'm not going to go into even half of the detail that Colton just went into, so I'll just give you my top 3 relatively quick, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let me go with my my number 3.
All right.
And this one is legend. Wait for it. Legendary.
Oh, okay. I can live. I can live with that. I'm not the biggest. I don't get that show.
See, once again, it's How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
I just maybe it's my Seinfeld.
I was gonna say because I mean you say that and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. You've got all these great things with with the bro code and all the
Bob Saget.
Bob Saget is the actual
Rest in
commentary.
peace.
Yeah, we miss Bob already.
Yeah.
If you ain't seen nothing, you ain't. Oh man, there's another one that could have been in my top. Entourage.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
yeah.
I'm gonna put that honorable mention right now.
Oh,
Noted.
Man. Yep. I know another one that should have been in mine that it's not up there, but I wonder if it's in yours. We'll see.
So probably not. Mine was I just kind of went off what I've been watching lately and just repeatedly watching over and over. How I Met Your Mother, I can watch. I watch the season. I go back. I start it again. It's on the streaming sites.
Yeah.
I just watch it. It's a nice time killer. I enjoy it. And How I Met Your Mother is just it's got some great stories, and it's got you got the exciting shit, and you got the stuff that just kind of brings you down and makes
it's a start to finish show. Like you watch the first season, and you're watching it till the end because the story arc follows the whole thing.
Yeah, you get everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was one of the biggest disappointments that I saw in Seinfeld was how they ended it. It was just kind of like, why did they do it that way when they could have done it so much better than?
So they ended it because Jerry is superstitious.
Oh, is that what it was?
About 9.
Oh, but I mean, the episode itself didn't.
Yeah,
really...
I agree with that, but I think it was rushed because I don't think they knew how they wanted to end it.
Yeah.
Right on. So, How I Met Your Mother, that I'll give it my number 3. Like I said, I can watch it. I enjoy it every time. My number 2, The Big Bang Theory.
Wow.
That again, it's got a lot of great stuff. You've got a super hot. I mean, How I Met Your Mother. You got a couple super hotties that run around there. You got the super hot Kaylee Kuko. Come on, don't veer away from. You know what I'm talking about.
So, The Big Bang Theory was a show we watched.
And it's funny. Now it took me a minute. That wasn't. If you'd asked me this a few years ago, I probably wouldn't have been. Because the main guy, Sheldon Cooper, you just want to reach to the TV and just slap the shit out of him because he drives you insane.
Yeah.
But that's you learn that's what makes the show. And that's what really what it does.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I always tear up at the very final episode when he's up there giving a speech and kind of giving accolades to all them. I get a little teary eyed every time I watch it.
Fair enough.
So every so many seasons I get teary eyed.
Yeah.
So can you guess what my number 1 is?
So I'm thinking Castle, but I'm also thinking Leverage.
Son of a bitch.
Because that's what I just thought of when we were talking. When you said Entourage, I was like, oh my God, Leverage. Like, Leverage is a show that I can probably watch 1,000 times.
And I have watched it. Yeah, I have watched it 1,000 times.
Have you ever seen Leverage?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, man. It is.
What's it on? What was it on?
It was on it might got out.
As you're thinking.
I can't remember.
I don't remember what it aired on.
I can't remember what it aired on.
I think it's on Hulu now. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hulu has it. Yeah, it's really good. It's got Christian Kane is he's kind of the badass in it. Timothy Hutton is the brain, but it's just a group of criminals that get together and right the wrongs for other people.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a great show. I wasn't even thinking that.
And
but
I didn't think about it either.
My number 1 is Castle.
Yep. We're gonna share number 1. So.
I figured we might, but what's her name? Stanek.
Stanek.
Yeah, she is smoking hot, and it's
could have guessed.
And Nathan Fillion's in it. He is. I mean, I love Nathan Fillion. Even I went back and watched Firefly, which I thought was really good. He was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. In one season, he was the bad guy, and then of course, Castle. What did he do? 8 seasons, 9 seasons of that.
8, yeah.
Yeah, it was a while.
And then he went on to do The Rookie.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, he's just a good actor.
He also voiced one of the characters in Destiny, the video game.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Well, didn't one of those have his actual face on it?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay. I thought one of the games actually got his face.
Maybe actually, it wasn't Destiny. I do remember that now.
It was like a Call of Duty or something, something along it. It was one of those. One of those war
he
games.
did. You know what? I think he did voice a character in Call of Duty too, and they actually used
That
his
does
face.
sound right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nathan Fillion is awesome, and Kate
Oh, yeah.
Kate Beckett is awesome, and that's again, I've watched from start to finish probably 5 or 6 times, and I just keep going back. And it was that one that you flip it on, and it would be on like A&M or whatever, A&E or whatever station it was on, and it would be on, and you just couldn't tear yourself away from it.
Yeah.
It's like those stupid cooking shows that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You walk in, and you're like, oh, fuck, I think they can beat Bobby Flay.
So yeah, I'll just skip when that is my number 1 too.
Oh,
And
sorry, man. I mean,
no,
steal your
that's
number
okay.
one.
And then it's you're pulling a Colton on me. You know?
I can change mine to
Again.
leverage, and you can keep
No,
Castles
no,
your number one.
Again.
It's okay. So there's a police procedurals, crime dramas,
Mhm.
buddy cop stuff. That's my favorite genre of TV shows, movies, sort of buddy films, stuff like that. But I like Castle because it has a lot of the side characters come in to help, and his daughter's one of the main ones that most of the time, like, he'll go home and they'll give him an idea, he'll take it back, and that helps solve the case.
Right.
So there's a lot of things in that show that really keep you into it because he has his whole family and Kate and all the stuff in the first couple seasons with the captain, and man, the show's so good. And I've actually, Sarah and I are rewatching it right now because she's never watched it fully
And
through.
how is she getting along with it right now?
Oh, she loves it.
Uh-huh.
She loves it.
It's that true crime stuff, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
People are enthralled with that.
Yeah.
Enthralled. I shouldn't
Enthralled.
say thrilled.
Enthralled.
Yeah,
That's okay.
enthralled.
We're not very good with words either.
That's a good-
Words are hard.
Yeah. That's a good top 3. I really thought Leverage would be up there. But
I didn't. Yeah, you should be disappointed in me. Leverage
Yeah.
should be up there.
Yeah. I agree. It should be up there for
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Damn it. So I'll just run through mine really quick. That 70s show at number 3.
Solid.
I answer the phone 90% of the time with Mr. Sexy's Pizza.
90%.
yeah, I don't get that very often.
Yeah. Colton's my other 10%. I don't answer it. Like
Well,
that.
I pick up your 10% because it's 100% when I call.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, there's so many, like we talked about, one-liners, pop culture things that come from that show, and things that it's one of those shows you can sit down and watch over and over and over again. And I'm excited for them to come out with a 90s show because I think it's going to be interesting.
Just on a side point, did you watch any of the 80s show when they brought it out?
No, I didn't.
And that's probably why it completely failed, because it was horrible.
Yeah, I watched a couple and
Yeah.
I never got into it.
It just, they tried to,
Try to
I
make
hope
the
they
same
don't
magic
mess up
with-
the 90s show by trying to outline it like the 70s show. They
Yeah.
need to, and that's what they tried to do with
They
the
need
other
to
one.
find. They need
Yeah.
to find another way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another formula.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then my number 2 is The Following.
Oh,
which,
right on.
Which is Kevin Bacon. And he is a detective who had heart problems, so he has a heart monitor.
Huh.
And it's a really, really hard to explain the story because there's so much that goes into it. But there's a writer who does a lot of research in like Edgar Allan Poe and all this stuff,
Okay.
and he starts a cult. And it's mostly based in Poe. Well, he murders people,
Yeah.
obviously. And there
Yeah.
were a bunch of murders that happened way back when that Kevin Bacon's character was the detective on.
Okay.
Well, the writer's wife at the time, they end up getting divorced, and she gets with Kevin Bacon's character. So there's a connection between them, and a lot of the stuff he does is towards Kevin Bacon's character.
Huh.
And oh my gosh, the whole show,
It's-
if you watch it, it'll keep you in. And there's some gory points, there's some crazy points. Like it's
Oh,
it's
and
really good.
the twists that were in it were just
Oh, yeah.
insane. You
Yeah.
would think you'd have this, and then they'd be working for him or working for them. It's just
yeah. and
oh,
the one main girl that's under
She good
Joe. Yeah, I'd say so.
she's a hottie.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
Kevin
Come on,
Bacon's
man.
Kevin Bacon's daughter, yes, for sure, in the show. Yeah. No, the one main girl, she was actually in MCU too, and I cannot think of what movie she was in. I want to say it was The Guardians. But yeah, I can't think of her name either. I don't know.
It happens.
Yeah.
Dude, that is a solid top 3 right there.
Yeah,
That's very good.
And then Castle.
yeah, and of course Castle, because
Yes.
Kastanik is just way hot.
Yeah. All those shows I just love, and like I said, I could watch most of them over and over again. I own all of them on DVD except for that 70 show. I don't have any of that 70 show on there, but I do have all the seasons of Castle and all the seasons of The Following. There were only 3 of The Following,
Right.
before it got canceled. But
Kevin Bacon.
yeah, how many degrees away are you from Kevin Bacon? Because I'm gonna say I'm 2.
You're 2?
Depending on how you say, like, is it a person that you have actually physically had contact with, like you've met and talked to and all that, or is it I went to the same school as Letterman, so technically Kevin Bacon was on Letterman's show, so I'm only 2 away from Kevin Bacon.
I don't think it works that way.
I think it does. I think you just kind of write it your own way.
You get what's your you can write it out wherever you want to write.
I would do 3 because I would just say, well, my wife went to Ball State.
Yeah, or then I went to Ball State. So where you guys are both 3.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally go with that too, but
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
So if I had physically shaken Letterman's hand and talked to him, that would
You'd
definitely
be one.
put me.
oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay,
Well, that's not what happened.
not quite. I've been there at the time that he was there, but I never really got to, talk to him. So
I'm gonna figure this out and get back to you on that because I think I can get within 6 degrees.
Okay.
Legitimately.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's another route to get there for most people, because like they say, everybody is. But that's way off subject, so we can skip that. I just thought it was funny. I actually had it in my notes. I wanted to ask it, but
I gotta write that down.
yeah.
I gotta write that down.
I gotta figure out how to many degrees. I never really thought about it until you just brought that up with the whole Letterman thing.
Yeah.
Because I can go Al Snow to The Rock to Kevin Hart. Then there's got to be a connection right there somewhere to.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's a way to get
Think
there.
about that one for a minute.
Yeah.
Think of a famous person you've met, and then you're probably one away.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Who is the most famous person you ever met?
Me?
Yeah. I have to think about that. You don't have to answer right now. You can do that in your next episode.
Yeah. Famous people we've met.
I've been recognized. I don't want to say recognized, but I've caught the attention of some NBA players.
Really?
Cool.
Yeah, I've gotten them to wave at me.
Oh man.
What was
I've
it?
gotten acknowledgments from them.
I've gotten, what do they call that?
That's it. That's the right there.
Right there. Oh, they waved. I'm looking. I'm
Yeah.
like, is he pointing at something?
Just
That's
the
it.
point.
They get the point. Hey. And they're like, sup.
So
Oh. We are. All right, where we at?
I mean,
We never know where we're at, Emperor.
Yeah, we're-
Okay.
No, that's good. That's a good thing.
we do get to lulls sometimes, but never like anything that like stops us to make us like, unless Colton's got to run up and drop a number 2, which happened once, which was kind of.
But that came at a perfect time.
It really did,
It came in like the best transition because we were getting done with a question.
Right.
And they were transitioning to another one. I'm like, dude, I gotta go upstairs.
Like I drank 2 beers while he was up there.
Dang.
So is there a show that's not in your top 3 that you could sit down and just watch over and over and over again?
Well, I think you covered mine. You've already covered my 2.
That 70 show.
That 70 show, and I can throw in Leverage on there too.
Yeah.
So I can go both of those.
I would probably say one of my guilty pleasure shows is probably Family Guy.
Okay.
I could probably just pop that on and just watch that and just let it roll in the background and be.
I've got my Facebook puts up like clips from Family Guy all the time. So like I'll be scrolling and then it'll get a reel and it'll be just Family Guy clips and I'll just watch them.
Right.
It's always just the well, that's like when this happened and this, and then
Yeah.
everyone plays those. Yeah.
The flashbacks.
Yeah, pretty much. So Family Guy's yours.
Yeah, what about yours?
Grounded for Life.
Grounded for Life.
You ever seen it?
I think I know it, but I don't think I've ever watched it.
Yeah, it's a really good show. It's one of those that would be on when we got home from school and we'd watch with Dad. and it's about a guy that owns a bar with his brother, pretty much, and it's a sitcom.
He didn't really own a bar though at first, did he? I mean, they bought the bar later,
yeah, they
right?
bought it later,
yeah, but it was grounded in just the same scenario that we were living in. You know, the living paycheck to paycheck, and the crazy uncle, and the kids, that did stuff that weren't supposed to be doing, and they try to, and the mom and dad were crazy when they were younger, but they're trying to be more adult now, and they're still not smoking weed on the side when nobody's looking, just stupid shit. But it was just such a a common show that it really worked.
Yeah. And it didn't run very many seasons.
No,
but it was good. I don't remember the name of the bar either, but McGill.
Yeah, it was like something along that line.
It was an Irish.
Yeah, it was
pub.
an
He was
Irish pub.
Irish. He was a redhead. Donald
Logan.
Donald Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody says I look.
The
Everybody
disrespect.
Yeah.
Everybody says I look like him.
Yeah, for sure. It was without the red hair.
He ended up coming into. Did he come into Sons of Anarchy?
Probably.
Yes, I think he was in Sons of Anarchy, but he lost a ton of weight at that point because he was kind of a heftier guy.
He was also in Gotham.
Yes.
He was one of the
Well, who was? Did you watch Gotham?
What universe is that?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't thinking about that.
I have heard though that is one show I need to watch because it's really good.
It's a standalone.
Well.
It's a standalone.
It totally just standalone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Another Batman that's a
Yeah,
standalone.
imagine that.
That's who'd ever thought that.
Batman is young Bruce Wayne at that point. So you don't even get to see Batman, but you get to see him.
But that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, you get to see him and who would be Catwoman. If I could say her name, I would. Selena Kyle. Yeah. Thank you, Selena Kyle.
Jeez.
Who's Marty McFly?
yeah, exactly. Tell me now.
Who is it? Who is it?
Michael J. Fox.
My number 2 makes me cry.
Yeah. No, so you see the young.
Oh, by the
Bruce
way, it
and
wasn't
young
Michael
Superman.
Sweet. It was Steve Vai. Just so you know.
Yeah, that we saw at Sweetwater. Yeah. But I didn't. I said maybe it was Michael Sweet. I don't know. I'm not.
That's
I don't know
okay.
his
No,
name.
it's a small detail.
When you're yelling at your radio going 65 miles an hour down the highway going, it's Steve Vai!
Yeah. Selena Kyle, young Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Which is cool to see that as they grew up, because really in most of the comics they did grow up together. I mean, that was the thing. And you see it in the Christopher Nolan Batman.
Yeah, they had good chemistry.
Yeah.
Good chemistry.
So it's always fun.
Another standalone.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan. We're back to Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, it's
Catwoman?
Anne Hathaway.
Okay.
They didn't as much, so I don't really think they went back to her being young, knowing Bruce. But I think
they didn't really play that off.
chemistry
They just had really good chemistry.
Yeah.
DC still sucks.
I do want to make this point real quick, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah, we're probably pushing too.
Yeah, Lucas.
Easy.
Lucas did sorry, buddy. Sorry, but Lucas did a horrible job trying to convince you to watch the Arrowverse.
I wasn't much help.
Well, I was going to leave you out of it since you're actually his.
And
I
might have had more good points.
Yes. I want to put out there that you did compare the Arrowverse to DC movies. If you you can't do that because they are two different eras. With the DC TV shows, they did have an idea in it, and it does work out. And I think that when you talk about some of the crossovers, you can see that all that shit was thought out.
Yeah.
The DC movies, they're trying to keep up with the MCU, and they keep shooting themselves in the foot. Nobody gives two flying shits about Spider-Man's origins. And it's the same thing with Batman. Well, I don't want to see Batman's origin again. I've seen it 12 times. We got Michael Keaton's origin. We've got,
Bale's got an origin.
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of people like the new Batman because of that.
Well, and I think that new Batman is a totally different story. I mean, I don't know that you really even get the whole origin. It just as much as you get, like you guys talked about, more of a detective story.
Yeah.
But if you would dive into the DC TV shows, they do have an idea, and Arrow actually is really a good TV show. Even though you can put up that the CW did it and it was a weekly show. There's so much shit going on in that. There's so many characters that come in and out of it. I mean, it really does hold your attention. Even if you just keep that on its own. And I'm thinking about throwing in the crossovers with the Flash and how he helps the Flash get where he's going. And the other, is he laughing or sneezing?
No, I'm trying not to sneeze. I'm trying not to sneeze.
But when I said, Colton Keel, you failed this city, that is from Arrow. That was his vengeance.
Don't you remember me saying it in the episode?
No.
Yeah.
You have failed this city.
Yeah.
And you just died laughing.
Yeah. That is his vengeance call when in the first few episodes, even a couple seasons, I guess.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, I think I even brought it up in the episode. Is my problem is that it's DC affiliated.
oh, I understand.
And I have no faith whatsoever in them to
In what
do
they
anything right.
Yeah.
I believe, in my personal opinion, Arrow and the Flash, they did a really good job because there is storylines per season.
Yeah.
They work with each other, and you actually have a built story to keep building on. It makes you want to go back for the next season. Legends wasn't my favorite to getting into, and it took a little bit to kind of get a feel for it. I mean, there's so much shit going on, and there are some cool episodes, and I know that the whole idea was to get you to watch Legends. I don't know that would be the
seller.
The seller. I think Arrow and the Flash do a really good job at really bringing a whole storyline. So that being said, if you want to compare apples to apples, now I've got DC's shows. And here's the MCU shows. MCU gave you Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. You got a really good show in Daredevil. I really loved Daredevil. I loved what they did with it. I loved
100%.
what Fisk is, and I love the fact that they brought him into
Hawkeye.
Yes. And then they brought Murdoch into what?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
For a hot second.
Yeah, a very, very hot second.
How'd you catch that?
I'm just a good lawyer.
I'm just a good lawyer.
Jessica Jones, very anxiety-ridden, because once again we're back to. You watched the first season, right?
No, I was waiting. I'm a timeline person.
Right on.
So I like to finish Daredevil, and then I like to go to the next episode, go to the next
fair
season.
enough.
Oh, and don't forget
Series.
the Punisher too.
Yeah,
Now,
the
see,
Punisher.
I did not
yeah.
watch the Punisher. I did not make it that far into the Punisher, and I apologize, but those two right there for the MCU were the better of the two. Iron Fist and Luke Cage, absolutely horrible, in my opinion.
I do enjoy Luke Cage.
I know that he
cool
liked
show.
some of it, but some of it was just.
Yeah.
I mean, the second
That's the
season was horrible.
consensus that I've gotten is that the Punisher and Daredevil are really, really good. Jessica Jones is a hit or miss.
It takes a minute.
The other two are you could live without.
So let's compare that. Okay, I think DC probably won a little bit more on the TV show aspect of that particular thing. In the movies, I'm right there beside you. They can't get it right, and they keep throwing spaghetti on the wall to see what's going to stick.
Spaghetti on the
Let me
wall.
hit you
Well,
with this real quick. Chris let me borrow one of his graphic novels on Friday, and I read it. It was Green Lantern Rebirth, which follows Hal Jordan.
Lantern's light.
Yes. So the most interesting thing to me about it was that Oliver Queen was one of the main characters in this.
Really?
Along with the Justice League and the whole thing with Hal Jordan coming back. And I almost have to let you read it because it's really good and it's an easy read. And I don't read much, and we all know that.
I know this.
So no, and it wasn't just Oliver. Mia was in it, which I'm pretty sure Mia is his daughter in Arrow. And then Mr. Terrific was in it from Supergirl. No, The Flash. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
No, it was I don't remember. Arrow, maybe one of the shows he was in it. He's been on
No,
all
it's
of
from
them. At
Flash.
some point.
He was mainly in Flash.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mr. Terrific, and just all these little pop-up things in there, and you're like, okay, this is really cool.
Nice. They got it.
And
Snap. You still got it?
no, I don't. I gave it back to him,
Okay.
but I can probably get it.
No, I don't need it. Just snap me a picture of it. I'll order one and get
Okay.
one in.
And so you see something like that, and this was back in way back when this came out. And you have these characters coming into these shows. So you read something like this after you watch those shows, and you're like, you almost can't believe it, that all these characters from the comics are in these shows, and they're actually portraying them looking exactly like they look in that comic. So
you're saying that the DC does a better job of comic book to
I would say
show
adaptations are spot on. Yes.
Yeah, I don't really care.
I know you don't. I know you're not a comic guy, and I'm not either.
He's not a DC guy at all.
I'm not either. But reading that actually made me want to kind of read some more comics because it was just a cool story. So
are we gonna, back to Jeremy's point of we want to compare apples and apples now? Are we gonna do anything with the MCU movies, the Disney Plus movies, or just the Defenders movie or TV
Well,
show?
we were just kind of going with it. I mean, the MCU TV shows that we were talking about were basic for Netflix, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So Jessica Jones, Daredevil, those were all just Netflix
so
shows.
you say the Defenders is a Netflix MCU entity, kind of like how
Yeah.
the Arrowverse is a Arrowverse DC entity.
Yeah.
Okay, I
the
can see that.
Defenders. Did you like the Defenders?
I haven't watched it.
Okay,
It's the end. It's when they all
true.
come
It's
together.
true.
So
it's true. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Defenders, even though Iron Fist is just horrible.
So listeners, we have gotten way off topic for our TV show talk, and
I
that's
think
that's
well,
okay.
I think
Not
they
really,
just
we're
want
still-
to put me down.
I know.
We're still
I
talking about
know.
TV
I
shows.
know.
We just happen to be a streaming service.
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
was another question I actually had for you guys.
Oh
that
my gosh,
is-
what is it?
Is
I just want to make sure I get through my list. What are you talking about?
do
No.
you guys watch anything live TV anymore, or is it all pretty much streaming services?
That's a great question.
Go ahead.
The closest thing to a live TV show we watch is The Masked Singer.
Hey, and that's okay.
Let me tell you, I don't watch anything live TV unless it's the Chiefs.
Oh, with sports, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
Well, I just want to throw that out there because everything else is DVR'd because we can scan through the commercials. We can blow
Exactly.
through it in 45 minutes. But The Masked Singer is my guilty pleasure.
oh yes, we could have an episode on The Masked Singer.
We could.
We get Sarah on here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was a Bridgerton episode you guys need
Well,
to do.
I mean, Bridgerton. I know people we could get for that.
Yeah.
Like fill the studio and some.
yeah.
I look up and there's like 18 windows on the.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that'd be a lot of cameras.
Gotta just think of the logistics of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have fun putting that
Gonna
together.
have-
See you
no
later.
kidding, yeah.
Gonna have
How
anxiety.
many
thinking
USB
about
ports
that.
do you need for that one?
No, you're just gonna do it like the call guy.
The cog
The
man.
call guys. They gotta go like the call guys. Just normal. Everybody does it from their house on Zoom.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. I don't know where we were going with that.
I just threw out my guilty pleasure. What's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is anything on the Game Show Network. I can watch the Game Show Network all day.
I'll give you that. It
Yeah.
is. I do enjoy that. That is fun. I'll give
Yeah.
you that.
There were some shows when I was younger, like Jane by Design. I watched that with Mom, and it was the chick show,
Oh.
and it was the storyline in it, and the plot was really good. It was
But
a
you
young-
wouldn't tell anybody at school you were watching.
Oh, no way. No way. And it was almost that what's the Meryl Streep movie with Anne Hathaway?
Yeah.
Devil Wears
Yeah,
Prada.
it was
Yeah.
that
Devil
same
Wears
kind of
Prada, yeah.
concept
Yeah.
where it was a young girl that was not quite out of high school and she got an internship, but she lied and said she was older,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's at a fashion place,
Okay.
it was just really cool. And she's getting hit on by a lot of these
Oh yeah.
guys because she lied about her age, and it was. I don't know that you could make the show today, to be honest. At that point, if you think about
Probably not.
that. Yeah.
Anne Hathaway, the other show. What was the one she did with? The old man. Is it Robert De Niro?
The Internship.
The Internship.
That is
that
a
was
great
a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were on movies. We're not supposed to be on movies.
Have
but
you seen that?
I just thought
I
about
have
that.
seen it. I'm not a fan.
No, you didn't
really?
like it?
Really?
No, I think it was in the De Niro cash grab stage.
Oh,
of his
yeah.
Oh
life.
well,
Yeah.
that can be
Yeah.
definitely. And yeah, we could talk about cash grabs and your girl and my girl because she's smoking hot, Natalie Portman.
Oh my gosh.
But
No,
before that,
Natalie.
what's your guilty pleasure? Before we get off topic, what is your guilty pleasure show?
Oh, I would probably say I would go with The Masked Singer.
Right on.
Oh, okay.
I could talk about that. And honestly, if I could ever watch the first season of Bridgerton, I would probably throw that one on there because that show sucked me in so quick, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've talked about kind of the things that we dislike. We talked about the things that we like. We talked about our top threes. We talked about our guilty pleasures. We've kind of hit.
Did we kind of hit
I
everything?
mean, we
lot.
still had time. We still had time to still badmouth the DC through all of this.
Yeah.
Well, some of us didn't badmouth DC.
We did.
I guess I have failed too. Gunner, I have failed this podcast. I didn't convert him over to watch Arrowverse.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's just not gonna happen.
It's all right. And
all right.
you know, we got the one email,
Yeah,
and I don't know who that was from.
I don't know either, but I could guess.
Yeah.
Couldn't be anybody in this room.
The
I
Emperor.
wonder-
Really, nobody else out
And
there.
I had
Verbal.
4 people tell me
Yeah.
via phone calls
I had
that I
verbal.
should watch it. That I should watch Arrow.
The point of it was to try to get some emails and get some
Yeah,
people.
get some
Yeah,
people
just get some
interaction.
interaction.
Yeah.
But we
Or
get.
in
I mean, I
comments.
get a ton of interaction over this.
Oh yeah, me too.
I mean, Bobby brought it up to our driver
I
at
know.
work, and we went into a 30-minute conversation about. And now he says he watches it. He watches the YouTubes.
That's
oh, really?
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Please
we've got
do that
some.
more.
We've got some ideas for stuff, and I think it'll be fun if we could pull some of these off. But it'll take some time and logistics to figure it
Yeah.
out. But we got some ideas coming.
Hey,
out.
we have nothing but time, so
Yeah,
that
that's
is true.
you
Until-
guys have nothing but time. I'm gonna leave this to you guys. I'm just happy to be here for episode 10. I keep saying we and stuff, like I am part of it, but I'm pretty much letting you guys do your thing.
Well,
and
Yeah, exactly. And we definitely missed a piece at the start of this, and I want to go back to it.
okay,
Did we didn't talk about your top 5 Marvel movies or your
Oh.
top 5 sports? We were gonna do shows, your Marvel shows, or your
My
top
Marvel
5
shows,
sports
yep.
films.
okay.
And
So
I think that's another thing, and I got mixed up. I want that to be something we do with each of our guests too.
I like
is-
that.
And we have them, whether it's their sports movies, their Marvel movies, their Marvel shows. So I want to do that with each guest, at least one of them or 2 of them.
Okay.
So Dad,
you
the
want me to do
Emperor.
both of them?
I want you to do both of them.
Yes.
Give
All
us
right.
your top
Let me
5
let me
sports.
let me let's start with the breakdown of the Marvel. The
Okay.
Marvel. We're talking about Marvel TV shows.
Okay.
Yes.
Mine are way different than both of yours. You guys kind of had Wanda
he's-
and
He's backwards.
I am backwards. And real quick, I'll just give you the list. I'm not gonna.
I'm ready to tell you that everyone is wrong.
I'll give you the list, and then we'll break it down a little bit. Why I like it. See, okay, so I did 6 because now with Moon Knight being in there, I wanted to make sure I threw
I
it
mean,
in there.
that's fair enough.
So
I think we did it too, kind of.
Yeah.
my number 6 is What If. I thought it was good. I'm not
Fair.
dissing on it. It just wasn't. It was one of those that you watch. I watched a couple episodes, and then it took me forever to go back into. I was like, oh, I need to finish watching this.
Did you finish that before you watched Doctor Strange?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, all that stuff made sense to me when I
Okay,
saw
good,
Doctor
good,
Strange.
good,
So
good,
yeah.
Good. I was worried.
And then I'm gonna go with WandaVision. For me, WandaVision was slow and it was hard to get. You had to. I want something that's gonna get me into it and want me to come back for more.
Does it change now that you've seen Doctor Strange? Does it change you? at
Yeah,
all?
does WandaVision change now that you saw WandaVision Part 2?
WandaVision Part 2. That is really. They should have just named it that. It's down there. It's not that I hated it
Yeah.
because I
Some
did
has
watch.
to be down there.
Yeah, well, and I had to watch the first 4 episodes to actually get to the good stuff in the end.
Yeah.
I'll give you
You know,
that.
I think
to
a
an
lot
extent.
of them are like that. A lot of these, and that brings up my number 4. Loki was the same way. I don't think he really had a strive until they kind of start figuring it out. So Loki's my number 4. I'm gonna give Moon Knight number 3, even though I have not finished it at the time of this recording.
I think that's a solid. I think 3 and 4 is a good rank for it. And I think we both kind of did it in ours.
And the reason being, in 3, Moon Knight, 2, Winter Soldier, and then number 1 was Hawkeye. Those are mine as far as that goes. And the reason is because there was so much energy at the beginning. I wanted to go back. I was ready for the next week. I was watching it immediately after. And with the bottom 3, I wasn't.
Okay.
It came out. I'll get to it. It didn't draw me back in. Moon Knight is going to be on that teeter because I want to watch it, but I haven't got back to finish it. And I know it's going to be good because the first 2, and even Gunner talked about this. He thought the first 2 were a little slow. I was
lackluster.
When I finished the second one, I'm like, I'm ready for the third one. Where's it at? Oh, I got to wait another week now. Damn it. So that's why I ranked them the way I did there, because I kept wanting to come back to it. Hawkeye, me and Bobby really liked together, which she's not really. I think she watched the Loki one, but the rest of them.
I'm sure she has love for Clint Barton and being Jeremy Renner, and he is that character that you've known since the beginning of the MCU, really.
Yep.
And seeing him in an actual TV show by himself and seeing him with his family and all this stuff is
him finally kind of get his standalone.
Yeah. And he gets his redemption.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the whole Wanda thing, is she has been on this up and down.
And she still is. She still is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, now you get to see Doctor Strange and all how that works out. I mean, Doctor Strange, I thought it was great. I really did. I thought it turned out really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got an episode about that coming up, or
it is last week's episode. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually releasing tomorrow.
Okay,
it's releasing tomorrow.
Yes,
but
we recorded these 2 in the same week. So
this is the first time we've double dipped on a week.
Yeah, well, sometimes. Yeah, when he's in Pennsylvania.
Did I say not?
Not?
I thought I said not the first time we doubled.
Oh,
up.
God, I thought you said this is the first time we had.
Oh, no. I was going to say, no.
That's what I thought he said, too.
We pumped out like 2. We pumped out back-to-back when you were in Pennsylvania.
Back-to-backs, yep. That's right.
So, yeah, that's my countdown for the MCU shows.
Yeah.
I didn't not like any of them.
Yeah, we like.
I mean, What If took me a minute, but, once you kind of got... That was hard to wrap your head around. Because you're so used to having. Let's just start off with, Captain America, no longer Captain America, and now it's Captain Carter.
Yeah, Captain Britain. I thought it was a breath. To me, it was a breath of fresh air because it was something so different, and I think they needed it. So then that way they could really, it's a lot of the comic book questions. So it's kind of just kind of feed off of that, and then hey, let's refocus. So. I thought it was a breath of fresh air. Like it was a nice reprieve from the animation. I thought that was probably what I was most impressed with.
Right.
So,
like I said, I didn't hate any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it just my list one is how often I wanted to go back and see them, and that's my top 2.
That's not a bad way to judge something.
My top 2, I was ready for them to come out. It was like, oh hey Bobby, it come out. It's this day,
hey,
and
it's
we're
Wednesday.
gonna watch it.
Wednesday, we gotta go home and watch it.
The problem with me and Colton is we're ready for all of them.
I was gonna
no matter
say,
if we like them or not.
Yes, I want all of them at once.
Yes.
All right, so let me do my top. We doing top 5 sports movies?
Do it.
I think I already know one.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Do you really?
Yes.
Do you? Let me tell you my number 5. The Game Plan with The Rock. No?
You've seen it, I'm sure.
I'm trying to think if it's a comedy.
I know. I keep kind of teetering on that one myself, but
there's a little bit of drama in there.
Yeah,
the whole thing with the daughter.
I'll allow it.
Number 1.
I'll allow it.
I like that movie. I thought it was really good. I mean, it's a good storyline.
Yeah.
It was. I can't remember. Was that pre or post the Tooth Fairy? Because that was an absolutely terrible Rock movie.
Yeah.
I
can't remember. Yeah, but it's kind of along that same line. I think it was after. I think Tooth Fairy came after.
Yeah.
Because I think he had a little bit of success with this kind of feel good.
Yeah.
This feel good movie and. All right, but anyways, the Game Plan. I thought that was something different, and I really liked that one. My number 4, and you're gonna hate it. It's The Blind Side.
Oh gosh.
I thought it was, even though I don't know that Michael Orr really stands behind this movie.
No, he hates it.
Yeah.
He hates it.
I just thought it was a really good. Once again, it's a good feel good movie. It's one of those that kind of make you maybe tear up a couple spots or whatever.
And you gotta love Sandra Bullock.
Oh my God,
I don't
she's
have,
smoking
I don't,
hot.
I don't have
I
to.
do love
She's
Sandra Bullock.
smoking hot.
But I
Miss
would not put
Congeniality, Sandra Bullock.
Yes.
Other than that, I kind of.
another detective movie.
Yeah.
If I had $20 on me, I would give it to you if you could get my number 3. If you can name my number 3,
North Dallas 40.
Nope.
Oh.
Whip It.
Oh yes.
Whip It?
Whip It.
Ellen Page.
Ellen Page is a roller derby.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Love that movie.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Another one that we didn't think
I
of.
definitely would have never pegged that one.
Yeah.
My number 2 is controversial. Although Whip It might be a little controversial. Is that really a sports movie? I
Yeah,
mean, those girls
100%.
are out.
I mean,
That's
I got a
athletic.
poker movie. I think
Oh,
I
that's
talked
a good
about
point.
one.
Yeah.
I got a billiards movie.
No, you
Definitely a
got
sport.
Bagger Vance. And that right there needs to be controversy.
What?
Anyway, we're not getting on that.
Oh.
My number 2 is maybe controversy for this podcast because I know you guys going to say no, it was a comedy. I don't think it was a comedy. I think it was a movie that had funny parts in it. And that is still Varsity Blues.
That's had to be your number 1, to be honest. But
Nope.
I took
That
it
is-
out because I thought it was a comedy. My mom made a great point. And when you asked her about it,
Uh-huh.
she said that Major League had more funny, lines,
Yeah.
one-liners.
Right.
You don't really get that as much in Varsity Blues. There are some,
Yeah.
but it really is a movie about sports.
I give it a 10.
I give it a 10.
A fucking 10.
A 10. Yeah.
My buddy Curtis it looks just like Billy Bob. So when he would come on Golden Image Radio back in the day, we would ask that was his radio name was Billy Bob. I still
Bob.
call him
That's
Billy
funny.
Bob
Yep.
when I talk to him.
That's great.
So let me hit you with my honorable mentions real quick before I hit my number 1. Ready?
Sure.
My honorable mentions: The Wrestler.
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey
Yeah.
Rourke. It's his comeback movie. It's that movie that you could not get in a theater here
Yeah.
or there. It was so. I waited till it came out on DVD before I finally got to see it. I wanted to see it so bad. That goes back into my personal, past where my dad was a wrestler, and a lot of that stuff for me came back into play. Was it the greatest movie? No.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest movie ever made, but it was a great movie if you lived in that part of life. Kind of like golfing and Bagger Vance and all that stuff goes
I
for
was gonna
you.
say,
You're a golfer guy, yeah.
That's my wrestler movie.
Yeah. Exactly. And the other honorable mention is, of course, Kevin Costner himself, ladies and gentlemen.
It's an honorable mention, so
I did leave it an honorable mention because I didn't want to get into this big argument, but it is draft day.
It doesn't even need to be mentioned. That's how bad it is.
See, now I thought it was a great movie because it kind of depicted a lot of maybe what goes on behind the scenes that you don't see on draft day. Yeah. And I personally love draft day. I love when they talk about the players and they show you highlights and you get to learn because maybe you don't watch Wisconsin or, Oklahoma's college football team. So you're getting an idea what their star players are.
well, you got Colton over here who's watching the draft during an episode.
Well, that's true too. Yeah. But did you know? I mean, if they rattled off getting late into the draft, even the first round, did you know a lot of those players that got drafted? I mean, number 1, number 2 through number 10, maybe I could totally see you knowing. But did you know who Duffy was that the Kansas City took? Have you ever heard of him?
No, I'm thinking more so like the Bears players because that's really the only picks I really, really paid attention to. I did know the wide receiver because he went to the University of Tennessee, and I have a soft spot in the University of Tennessee because I have a cousin who played there.
Okay.
Back in the 80s. So I kind of keep up with Tennessee in that regards. Outside of that, man, they took some folks I knew the safety who was from Penn State.
Uh-huh.
Because Big Ten. I watched Big Ten football. So
for those of us who don't spend a lot of time watching
Yeah.
college, it's really nice to sit and watch and then get highlights and learn a little
Get
bit
to know
about the
who
place.
yeah. I
Nick-
get that.
Nick Bolton last year, when I remember when Kansas City drafted him, I was like, we got a linebacker. Okay, we need this is a need, and they showed highlights, and I thought, oh yeah, and then watching him last season, it was like, oh yeah, he lived up to that hype. So
My thing with highlights is
they're highlights. Yes.
And me and my boss, we joke around. There's a guy who plays for Purdue, is Zach Eady. When he was a freshman coming in to Purdue, he's 7'6" or something like that. And he's got this workout video of like a 4 minute video of him just hitting shot after shot.
Right.
Moves going to the rim, dunks, shooting threes, shooting 15-footers. He makes every single one. And we joke about it to this day. Be like, well, we saw that video. He's money. He needs to be shooting those shots.
Yeah.
He needs to be shooting those shots.
Yeah.
So that's where I don't like highlights. Maybe that's just because maybe it's just my sports background.
Right. No, it
Is
makes
that
sense.
I don't want to see when a team. I don't want to see you when you're up 20. I want to see you when you're down 20.
Right.
How you're responding then. How you're acting then. Are you still going hard? Are you playing hard? Are you still trying to do something for a purpose to try to win?
Right.
At that point in time, I could care less if you're up 20 and how you're doing that.
And that
way.
goes into
Yeah.
the band thing too. I mean, you can play to a full house and you have all this energy and you're a big rock star.
Yeah.
Can you be that big rock star when there's
5
3 people?
Yeah.
Yeah, believe me, been there, done that. But I really like Draft Day. I've watched it repeatedly. I really enjoy it. I just think it's a well told story, and it's got your guy Kevin Costner in it.
I'm sorry that you are sucked into that personal hell of yours.
But it's got your guy Kevin Costner. You know, wasn't he in like one of your favorite movies? What was it?
Yes,
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Why? No, not necessarily, because I waited 2.5 hours to get to the one good spot in that whole entire film. At the very end, when he plays ball with his dad.
It's not about the destination.
Yeah.
It's about the journey.
But it took so long to get there. Anyways, I'm just messing with you. I know everybody loves Field of Dreams, and I'll probably the Call Guys Podcast at gmail.com.
It's a good controversial take. I'll give you that. It'll get people fired up.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we're all about. But here's my number one.
Okay, let's.
And
get
I
to
can
it.
watch this every time, and it chokes me up every time.
Okay.
I get emotional at the end. I think it's a great movie.
Okay.
And I share this, number one. It's The Replacements.
It is. It's a great movie.
And Keanu Reeves is amazing in it. You know, the love story that goes in with it.
Yep.
And ole,
Ole, ole, ole, ole, ole.
But yeah, Creeper Franklin ain't even know what Creeper Franklin can do yet.
That's right. That's right.
I love that movie. I can watch it over. As a matter of fact, I think I watched it 2 times in a row. There's one day this week, but that's beside the point. I love that movie. I think that is definitely the number one.
Oh, yeah.
But and I'm sure there's some that I missed. There's some great
there's
movies
always
out there.
there's
Yeah.
always something you miss. Somebody will remind you.
Oh, you know that to be
I
true.
like that you have Whip It on there. I think that's a
Whip It was such a
think
great
that's a
movie.
cool-
Yeah.
and I love that Colton had a billiards movie in there too. And,
Right.
and
Well, and I remember when The Color of Money came out.
Yeah.
And how, Paul Newman and all that stuff went around with all
I
that.
would be kind of curious to see when that movie was coming out. Like, did they
That-
ever tell it was a sequel, or did they ever
in
do
the
that?
in the underlying, I remember when it came out, because we're talking what year was that? It was late 80s.
The Color of Money?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 88.
Okay, I remember when it came out, and it was actually referenced as
A sequel.
a kind of a sequel. Yeah, it wasn't,
Interesting.
but it didn't. It's still a standalone movie.
It's a standalone movie, but I mean, Paul Newman is still playing Fast Eddie Nelson.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's the only thing that's really being taken from it. It's just that what he's done later in his life.
Right. But I do recall there being some underlinement about it being the next gen of that, and it still sticks in my head. And in no way that you use, and him doing the whole thing
Yeah.
with the freaking
He's got a stick and he's dancing with it.
Yeah.
And
that's just good stuff.
that one's not as good as the original, but it's still.
I've
like
never
that movie.
watched the original. I don't know that I watched it all the way. A Color of Money.
It's
I think
it's a long rough movie to get
Yeah.
through. I'll give you that. It's a long
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
You'll be disappointed
Yeah.
because there's really no.
There's no
good-
effort to get there.
Well, like I
until
said,
you
it
get there.
kind of reminds me of La La Land and how it kind of ends in misery. Is
Yeah.
kind of how.
I don't do musicals.
He couldn't get through the first scene on the bridge in La La Land.
Yep, I was
Oh
done.
my gosh.
I was done.
La
Yeah,
La Land. Now that movie breaks my heart.
Yeah,
That movie breaks my heart.
Fair enough.
it's a great movie. It really is.
But yeah, I mean, the Hustler is a movie about that is truly just about heartbreak.
Right on.
Yeah.
So
That was actually so. Last night at my brother's bachelor party, I had everybody, throwing ideas for episodes at me.
oh gosh.
And musicals came up. And
Oh, yeah,
like top 3
we-
musicals and rewatchable movies and comedies. Like it's things that we didn't even think about. Like it just.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And I was typing them into our list, so they're there.
Nice.
So I didn't-
Updated.
intoxicated me somehow. It's just like I should type these in.
I should.
By
That's
the way,
awesome.
by the way,
Yeah?
we did go to Hooples and do karaoke,
Yeah.
and I did sing "Save a Horse Ride a Cowboy."
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah, it's on Alicia's Snapchat.
Oh,
I
of
watched
course it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
good time. All right,
So that's my top 5 movies there, buddy.
thank you.
Whip It is a
I'm
great
glad-
movie.
I'm
Have you,
glad.
have you seen that one?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a long while.
I would say that's a rewatchable movie.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got interested in it because when Warsaw, Kosciuszko County started their Derby League,
Their Derby League. Yeah,
The-
I can see that.
the girl actually, who was one of the co-founders of it, had gotten a hold of me back when we were doing Golden Image Radio
Oh, nice.
and wanted me to be the announcer.
Of course, I
Yeah.
can see that with that lustrous voice.
That illustrious voice coming in at number 85. Lot of vagina. Sorry.
You're good. No, I think that is definitely something we should do with our.
I
with
like
our-
that
with our
idea.
guests.
So then that way we can start. So I think it's a good way. Might be a good icebreaker.
Yeah. Yep. Question of the podcast should be something that revolves around them, and then go into their top 5s. Because it is. It's something we know that hopefully most of our guests that we do have on here have listened to
Yeah.
all the episodes, and
Well, yeah. I mean, that would
that's the
be.
other thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
if they've
mean, it
never
might- it
listened
might-
to you, I don't know that you want them on your
I
show.
mean, you never
But
know.
I mean, next time we could ask the Murdnerds. We could just be like, hey, what's your top 3 TV shows?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the more
The-
top
every
the more
episode,
top
yes,
type of episode
yes.
we
Yeah.
do, the more diverse we can make it. So then that way, when we do have people on, we can kind of say, hey, have you seen? Hey, are you a Marvel person? And if they say no, well, we know we're not to ask him for their Marvel TV shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to ask them ahead of time. Just throw it out there.
Hey, gonna have you on next week. Need you to watch every single episode in the Marvel TV universe of Disney Plus.
You're gonna have to take an entire week to do so.
Yeah, just call into work. You'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
And they don't make it. They don't read that one to you like a book on tape. So you have to actually sit and watch it. And you can't spark notes because we'll know.
Yeah, we will. We will shut you down.
Yeah. Well, Dad.
This was fun,
Emperor.
guys. Thank you so much for letting me come on. I'm so excited for you in 10 episodes. You guys
Yeah.
are doing great. Don't change anything. Keep going right at what you're going at. I think
And-
it's wonderful.
We want to thank you
Yes.
because without you saying you guys need to do this yourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to make it a
Right.
big full thing because the original idea of the Call
Yeah,
Guys was
I
to
remember that.
make
I was
it-
going to bring this up.
make
yeah.
it a part of Golden Image Podcast.
Yeah, we
Right.
were going to just do it as a segment,
Yep.
and it was just going to be almost like in the realm of a question of a pod.
Yeah, sort of.
And I remember the first time we started talking, it took like 45 minutes.
Yep, we're like, well, you're right. My dad was right. We got to do this all ourselves.
yeah,
And we've had way more fun doing this than.
Oh, yeah. And
yeah,
like I said, you guys are doing a great job, and I love the controversy and I get text messages. Colton's gonna give me an aneurysm.
I
Those
would,
are
I
always
would
the
have
best.
loved to have just been like a fly on wherever he was listening to
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, so you guys are doing wonderful. So keep up the good work, and
Thank you. Thank you.
what are you sporting there? By the way,
Oh,
you
yeah.
didn't
Oh
get
my
to show this off.
gosh! Oh my, that's
Show-
the new logo.
The merch store is up. Unfortunately, the URL for the merch store is like god awful.
Yeah,
So it will be in all the podcast notes. It'll be on all of our social medias. So yes, that is the Call Guys long sleeve premium tee. Check it out. New logo. There
looks
are
good.
some other logos on there.
baby.
And there will be a Whopperman t-shirt coming.
Oh, Whopper Man.
Yeah. Yes, a Whopperman with a big old Whopperman and maybe some call guys on the back. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I think that's where we're going to go there.
That'd be awesome.
So, yes.
Yeah,
The
merch store.
Yes.
Yep.
Check it out.
Yes. So, once again, thank you.
Thank you, Emperor, for everything
Well,
you've done for us.
thank
and
you guys
continue
for-
to do for us.
Thank you guys for putting in the effort to help build the empire because
Yeah.
you know,
So-
I can't do it all by myself.
I know you're welcome. You can just call me Vader if you want.
Lord Vader.
And I can be C-14, the stormtrooper running down there.
Oh,
I'm trying to come up with that. What is it? Well, the one that he calls down. Why ain't you at your post? Why ain't you at your post?
Yeah.
CK421. Why ain't you at your post?
Yeah. I'd be CN 1922.
CN1922. Why ain't you at your post?
Yes. All right, let's plug it.
plug it.
Yes. So, everybody, thank you for listening to the Call Guys podcast. This is episode 10. I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we're in the studio doing this episode. You can get us wherever you get your podcast. That's Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, anywhere you get your podcast. Please, if you have any recommendations for the question of the podcast, a future episode, if you want to tell us your top 5s, top 10s, whatever you want to do. Today we have a new one. If you want to give us your top 3 TV shows, please email them to us. That is thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com.
Do our jobs for us.
We would love for, episode ideas. And we're not struggling to find them. We would just love to hear what you guys want to hear us talk about. And we think it's important. I'd rather talk about something you want to hear than something that we just come up with willy-nilly. So,
Yeah.
Also check out Golden Image Podcast. That is facebook.com/Golden Image Podcast. That's where the Emperor, myself, and the Skywalker talk about all things Indiana. And you know that Indiana is our home state. We are the Hoosiers, and we just kind of want to talk about whatever you can do here. Whether that's
That does make sense now. The Emperor and the Skywalker and CN991.
It does.
1922.
I think you should be CN 1922.
we're just a Star Wars podcast now. Yes, we talk about everything Indiana, whether it be breweries, restaurants, events, or whatever you can do in Indiana. Please listen and, give us feedback too, because we want to hear it. We want to know if you visited some of the places we talked about. The Emperor also posts old vintage Golden Image Radio episodes too. And it's so fun to go back and listen to those. A lot of local music from back in the day on there, and some of those songs, going back and listening to them, it brings back a ton of memories. So.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Some of those songs I was jamming out to this last week.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm like, damn it, crank it up. It's on 11, and I just was going to town.
Yeah. Also, check out the Murdnerds. That is facebook.com/Murdnerds. And I think the Emperor is also on that podcast.
Oh my yes.
Can you ever imagine that I'm on 3 podcasts?
No, I couldn't believe it. And look at you guest hosting on the Call Guys.
I know.
Yes. They are a true crime podcast that focuses on unsolved murders and missing persons cases in Indiana. Also, just like Golden Image Podcast, we are all about Indiana. Alicia and Ashley take turns, talking about different cases, and they tell the stories of the victims and hopefully shine light on those cases. And finally, the United States of Paranormal, which is Team Tejas and Team Boosiers, and they talk about everything cryptid, creepy, and paranormal, and that's all throughout the United States. So they could be in your hometown. You never know, which is kind of cool. Boosiers. Also, the Emperor might be on that one too.
What? The Emperor's on that one too?
Yes, and please, like us, rate us on Spotify. Anything you can do to help us out. Check out our merch store. If you want to buy a shirt, that's cool. If not, go look at least and help us out a little bit. And we would love to see people wearing Call Guy shirts. And
That would be
If
pretty
I
cool.
see anybody wearing one, I'm gonna autograph it if you want it or not.
Dude, what are you doing? You ruined my
Stop
shirt.
moving.
Yeah, who's this guy signing my shirt? I don't watch the YouTube.
that is the ticker right there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, some random dude came up and signed my shirt today.
It says Colton. That was Colton Key.
Oh my gosh.
So yes, rate us, like us on Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. And yeah, we're moving on. We're going on. Let's get to episode 20.
Yeah,
And so
push.
on.
It's a push now.
Yeah, I'm glad
This
we're
is
here.
when the grind begins.
Yeah, So everybody, I want to thank you for listening.
Thank you for coming down to the studio.
Oh, I'm glad I'm in the mothership. for this.
Yeah.
Yes, this is great.
Good. I'm glad you had a good time.
I
It's a good
did.
conversation, and definitely we
Yeah.
should do this again sometime.
Oh yeah, we will.
What, episode 20?
Oh, jeez.
Maybe we'll shoot for more like episode 50.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Jeez, he
Once
just
we
wants
get
more. The Emperor just wants more clout.
Because in the schedule, once we even hit episode 25, that's September.
Yeah.
So I mean, it'd be probably next year sometime. Episode 50 would be.
Yep.
So
All right.
all right. Anything?
As always, brother, you did a great job with the plugs.
Thanks, man.
As always.
As always. All right. For all three of us, we'll see you next time.
Oh, my.